All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of the official League of Kyle's Rivals podcast. I'm your host, Mike, joined as always by Alex, by Lucho. Special guest today, Mr. Phil is my rival. It's Tom.
Hi.
What's going on, Tom?
Oh, you know, man, I'm just excited to be here. First time, long time.
I love that we have guests every week. First of all, appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to make an appearance.
Honestly, having the guests are just ruining our ratings because they're part of the people that listen. So.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So that's why we can't have too many people on at once.
I'll still click, bro. I'll still watch it.
Yeah, click like, subscribe. Do it now.
Hit the bell.
Get the plugs in early. So we got some things. We're gonna get into our first batch of playoff teams, year 1 playoff teams this week. That's exciting. We're no longer talking about garbage.
The shit playoff teams, but
got him.
Wow.
I guess. Listen, we'll kick things off with. Let's get some trade rumors going. So I know last week was a busy actual trade week, but this week we really had nothing, so except rumors. But reports out there that Drew Brees possibly was on the move, but a deal just couldn't get done.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna be forced to retirement. So
yeah, I was gonna say, where's he going? To head a fucking mega church?
But the offer.
Honestly, Lucho, he'd probably easily be the starting quarterback there. So.
That was really funny.
I'm sorry I timed that when you took a sip.
I'm sorry, but he looks like he would have a mega church. Like, it's not even anything. You could take everything away that he's ever said. He just looks like he would have a mega
He looks like you'd be watching him on the 700 Club at 4 a.m.
Him and Philip Rivers.
Oh
God!
Yeah.
Oh my! Don't even put the idea in his head.
Philip Rivers would just be the usher.
Yeah.
Well, I know they're both listening to this podcast, so we just gave them the idea.
Oh my God! They're both going to retire at the same time, so they might as well start their own church.
Shout out to Drew Brees and Philip Rivers.
But a trade offer was turned down. I believe it was in the neighborhood of Drew Brees for Derek Carr and a first-round pick. That was probably rightfully turned down. But listen, the rumors were there. The rumors there. So,
big time rumor.
I mean, if anyone else has,
speechless. How did he turn it down?
It's crazy. I honestly couldn't believe it. But I mean, listen, they're rumors for a reason, and you have to throw shit against the wall. So. Somebody wants to accept that, then by all means.
Yeah, I'll accept it. I'm going to give you Derek Carr and Anthony's first-round pick, and I'll take Drew Brees.
And
sounds good.
Shit. I mean, listen, okay.
That can go into our discussion about other formats. Why don't we have a league where you can make trades based on other people's teams on behalf of other teams?
Oh man,
wake up one morning, your team has been demolished.
Whoops.
Shit.
We could vote on that.
Beauty.
I don't know what we talked about last week and if I talked about this rumor, but I know Anthony asked me about Tyrod Taylor, and we've just gotten nowhere. It's turned into Anthony asked me about Tyrod Taylor. I sent him an offer. It just got straight declined, and then I started sending him a bunch of more offers, and they all just got declined with no counters. So in the end, ask about a player and never send an offer is what his strategy is.
I think I might have screwed that one up for you.
Oh, surprise, surprise.
Oh,
yeah, well, because
breaking news.
I didn't know that was going on. I just knew that he was interested in the quarterback. So I was on the phone with him. I was playing Call of Duty, not really paying attention. And he's like, yeah, what about Tyrod Taylor? I was like, what? He's going to be a backup by like week 3, bro. And then you said that, so
yeah, you probably screwed up.
I mean,
I think he'll, like, speaking of Tyrod Taylor, I think he'll stick around for a little bit. One, obviously, we have the limited off season, so all rookies are gonna.
That we've had a whole discussion on about coronavirus and specifically rookies, not even the league as a whole.
This is secretly a coronavirus podcast disguised as a fantasy cast. Talk about it every fucking week.
The Pandemic Podcast.
Yeah.
It has come up every week. I mean, rightfully so. At least we don't force it. At least we're not like, hey guys, how about that coronavirus?
Yeah. Well.
But
as I was saying, Tyrod Taylor. You know, I actually think I know Lucho agrees with me on this, but I think Tyrod Taylor is actually a decent quarterback. And I think the Chargers are actually a decent team. So I could see that match. I could see them staying in playoff contention for a while. And as long as they're in playoff contention, I don't see them switching up QBs. So.
Listen, you know my fantasy feeling with Tyrod Taylor at this point, just because of who's on my roster. But I agree with you that if a team's playing well, why make a change for the sake of making a change?
And
especially if you're going. Oh, sorry.
But how many weeks do you give Taylor? Like, at what point do you say, okay, Justin Herbert?
How long are they in playoff contention for? I'd say they'd be in playoff contention until about, I don't know.
If they start 2-4, like, I guess figure.
Let's see when their bye week is. That's a good question. That always.
But you also have to just say right away, okay, the Chiefs are in our division, so right away we're probably playing for a wild card spot at best.
They're also in the AFC.
They're the Chargers. It's not like fan feelings are going to be a problem for them.
But they might be the four. I mean, I know the Raiders are weird.
There'll be no pressure from fans.
Exactly.
But empty stadiums are not.
Week 10 is their bye. So honestly, even if they play poorly, what's the best worst case scenario? 4-5 going into the bye. Well, they're playing. Let's see what we got. We got against the Bengals. I would assume they're still beating the Bengals.
Oh no, now we're just turning into the Mike Francesa. What's going to happen?
Yeah, podcast. we are turning about. It's first time, long time. That's why Tom's here.
That's me.
I'd say they beat the Bengals. Probably lose the Chiefs. Beat the Panthers. Probably lose the Buccaneers, but who even knows what's going to happen with that? Yeah. Lose the Saints. Hey, Jets. Do you think the Chargers beat the Jets?
The Jets, I just think they lose every game.
All right, so then they lose
every year. You can never bank on the Jets winning a game.
So
the Jets are going to win. The Jets' next win is going to come after the Olympics.
Dolphins 4-3.
That's not fun.
Jaguars 5-3. They have a lot of easy teams, honestly.
It's funny because the Olympics are postponed.
That's what I mean.
They should have been.
They got a pretty
because of the coronavirus.
Oh shit!
Oh
wow.
Honestly, Bengals, Panthers.
Heard about this?
I can't even get. Bengals, Panthers, Dolphins, Jaguars, Raiders are all in the first 9 weeks for them.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty.
Those are all. Yeah,
it's
those
favorable.
Are all
but also look at how many different ways did the Chargers also lose games last year. So they're like the team to find ways to lose.
That's also on Phillip Rivers for a lot.
Partially, yeah. But
it's not even picks.
It's not even like last year. It's the past couple of years. I feel like they've been dropping games.
That's also on Phillip Rivers.
Oh yeah.
Also, I can tell you right now that Justin Herbert's going to start Week 14 because they're playing Atlanta, and he'll win.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah. So fantasy playoffs Week 1 start Justin Herbert. Got it.
Oh yeah, there's your nugget for the day.
But honestly, Tyrod Taylor is a good QB to have in fantasy too.
Yeah,
he's just
because anybody that runs just
decent thrower, uses his legs. Yeah.
So I was telling Anthony.
We've discussed the potential effect on the offensive weapons with a quarterback like Taylor, because I feel like specifically the receiver stats tend to kind of suffer with some of those lesser quarterbacks. And I know Buffalo's not a good example because they didn't exactly have friggin' superstars on offense on that team.
They had fat Kelvin Benjamin and Zay Jones for a year when Taylor was there. So
it could be a different story, especially Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry,
Mike
Austin
Williams,
Eckler, guys like that,
Austin
right?
Eckler, yeah.
So the guys are there for sure, but it's always tough sometimes.
KJ Hill.
Oh yeah, KJ Hill. So again, we've discussed it enough with the Chargers' weapons, but it's the schedule. Kind of maybe it's favorable. Maybe the Chargers start good and then Tyra. But again, past this season is probably a question mark in terms of just us being dynasty. I mean,
oh yeah, no, I would be shocked if he was a starter in 2021. It's really
right, exactly.
And I was telling Anthony, it's really, for me, it's just insurance to make sure that Big Ben doesn't come out rusty or something.
Exactly, right. That's why Mason Rudolph's going to sadly stay on my roster. I have to waste the fucking roster spot because he might potentially start a game. because the Steelers didn't get another quarterback.
That's rough times.
If there's an issue with Ben Roethlisberger and Cam Newton's still a free agent, 100% Cam Newton's getting signed. But I'm assuming
I'm shocked,
by that
man.
point,
Is nobody gonna sign?
They're all
is anyone gonna sign him?
Scared of his medical.
Yeah,
Way
I
too
also
scared.
but Jameis, look at someone like Jameis who took 1 year, $1 million. You're telling me a team won't do that for like a cheap price like that?
Cam still wants more money than that. I can't.
But I feel has he come out and said he would do a backup role?
Yeah,
they said at one point, but at the same time, I still think he knows that he can wait until someone gets hurt at some point or someone plays poorly, and he'll actually get money then.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to pay him eventually.
Oh yeah.
Plus, I know, after that week 1, when all contracts aren't guaranteed for veterans,
that's true.
That's huge because that's. Are they guaranteed for injury at all during that too? No, there's no guarantees at all.
So, yeah.
That might be a big sticking point for him.
Exactly, and
teams.
also, just after watching him for so many years in the same division as the Falcons, I wouldn't be surprised if teams didn't want to sign him to a backup role because they don't want to see him like moping on the bench, and they'd rather wait to sign him and then immediately make him the starter.
No,
it's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's one of those guys when things aren't going well, he starts moping.
He does.
Yeah,
he does.
He can get some bad energy. It's not all the time, but
never seen it. Never seen it.
But yeah, that's all I have to say. I have nothing else. No other trade rumors by me. All I know is that Phil is trying to make me do trades so he can get a guy that I get. Because when I'm like telling him about the whole Anthony thing, and then I'm like, yeah, I told Anthony I just want like a 2nd round pick for Tyrod about that value. And then I'm like, but he doesn't have a 2nd round pick. And Phil's like, well, if you get a guy that I like, I'll give you a 2nd round pick for that guy. I'm like, all right, Phil, this is gonna have a 3.
Well, I mean, rumor has it that after Dennis got 2 2nd round picks for Sterling Shepard, which I think we all agreed was an overpay in the sense of what Kyle paid for it. Really? So Phil went ahead, rumor has it, and he threw out 2 1st round picks for Justin Jefferson.
1st round picks?
Yeah, two seconds.
No, seconds.
Oh, 2 seconds.
2 seconds for Justin Jefferson, and also 2 seconds for Terry McLaurin, which are not trades you make.
Tom, did you say really because you thought that trade was good for Kyle?
No, it was awful.
Okay, it was a sarcastic really.
Kyle, side note here, Kyle's made the worst trades I've ever like. You guys make fun of Anthony. What is Kyle doing? Trading all of his draft picks during a rebuild.
This is what I don't know, man.
What is he, the Redskins?
Wait, is he the Dan Snyder of the group now?
Oh
yeah.
No.
Or the O'Brien.
Please don't say that. Kyle's too nice of a person to call the Dan Snyder.
That's true.
Fair.
Who's Dan? No, I have a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Adam Thielen is worth?
It's tough. It's tough because I think even though we need 3 starting wide receivers, I just think a lot of wide receivers. I don't want to say like a dime a dozen, but it's just like I feel like there's just more depth to go around. There's more fantasy relevant depth to go around that I think, in theory, like you have your top receivers that are worth a lot, but I think like guys like Thielen start slipping. Like I don't think I would trade a 1st for Thielen today.
I think he's worth a 1st, just straight up.
Very, very fringe, I would say.
Well, I mean,
like
the person that's buying Thielen is also a team that's
trying to win within the next 2 years. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's a perfect.
Like I don't know. I guess what I trade like one, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't trade my okay. I'm not saying I'm gonna be the repeat champion, but let's just say if my pick is 1.12 again, like today I don't think I would trade. All right, fine. All right, fine. My pick's fine. Fuck it. My pick's 1.9. I don't know if I would trade that today. In November, maybe. Like,
yeah, it's not like, a move for right now.
Like he's a hold until midseason for sure. Like, I don't think
so.
You need to be like a perfect team to make that trade now. Like it literally has to be like, all right, I have Mahomes and Lamar Jackson as my 2 QBs. I have Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon as my 2 running backs. And then you're at the point where like, oh, and my wide receivers suck, but I have Travis Kelce at tight end, where it's like, all right, you literally just need a wide receiver to get in there. Maybe
Right.
your best wide
Right.
receiver
But, like,
is like,
that-
I don't
that's
know,
where-
a bunch of like when you look at Phil's wide receivers, like similar to that, where it's like, imagine Phil had all the other pieces perfect, but then you had his wide receivers. Like a guy like Thielen would really help in that case.
Right. But
And
like
you could
that's
do it now.
but that's where I just think there's just overall more depth for wide receiver. That's why I think you could go out and find a guy for cheaper. Maybe you don't get Thielen's production, but you might get somewhere close to it for a cheaper price. Is what I'm getting at.
So I have the opportunity.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I have the
Oh.
opportunity to get Adam Thielen for a first straight up.
did
And I'm
did
not
that offer
ready to
come
do it
into- to
Yeah,
your inbox?
yeah, it came into me.
Ooh, Alex Hochberg. Maybe he
And I'm
listened to the
not-
podcast.
I'm not ready to do it just yet. I mean, it's too early for me.
Yeah,
Mike's
it's not-
standpoint,
It's
I
a
agree
tough-
with.
It's not a trade you make in. Well, I keep saying May, where it's June now, but it's same time frame. Like it's not a trade you make now.
I mean,
I just
you can.
because you don't but like
Yeah.
you might be okay with your team the way it is. Like your team is pretty good as is. Like obviously we'll get into your
We'll
roster.
go over that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll
we'll get
buy
into
Thielen
your
first. Uh-oh. See you, Mike.
roster, but it's one of did it freeze
Like,
as I did
You
this.
froze when you
Yeah.
were. Yeah, let's get into your.
But yeah, I mean that's my take. It's not a trade you make now. It's a trade you make in October if you like shit. Maybe one more receiver puts me over the top.
All right,
Ivan?
Alex Hochberg, if you're listening, I'm gonna get a first round pick and I'll make that trade with you.
I argue the other side because you're saying that you can potentially get like you're trading a first. You wouldn't do it now. You would only do it if you see that your team really needs that boost in November. At that point, just based on Thielen's range of outcomes, there's a strong possibility that you can find his production on the wire or for a cheaper wideout or something like that, and his value tanks because you're not going to be able to get that from him for him.
I'm gonna argue the other side with that one.
Oh.
So the
This is a
problem with
pyramid.
waiting till November is I don't think you're going to get him for first of November if he continues to be Adam Thielen, normal Adam Thielen, and doesn't get injured. Which if he's
Okay.
injured, you're not making the trade anyway.
Well-
I think the problem will be there'll be other teams that also will make that trade, so the price is just going to go up. And it's gonna be
But then, if I were to rebuttal that, I would say I would.
the other side.
Well, what I would like to do in an ideal world is I would wait until the trade deadline and then flaunt out my first round pick and see what I can get there. It
That's
doesn't have to be Adam Thielen, but it could
Yeah.
be a formidable receiver or whatever else it may be.
Sure.
You know.
It is.
Right,
It's
and-
tough to
right.
make the trade in June. You're right. It's tough.
There's
to make the
just
trade in June.
but like and I feel like this happens every year. Like everyone puts so much and I'm talking more redraft, not dynasty, but everyone puts so much into got to hit on my draft picks, got to hit. Like for again, more so redraft, those leagues are won on the waiver wire. To just throw out general fantasy advice for anyone listening. Don't like to make like a ton of trades and to put all your stock in draft picks. Sometimes it does backfire because like we've said, like the waiver wire pretty much wins. The waiver wire wins redraft. Dynasty a little lesser, but like Lucha said, there's especially now that, and I know we're only in year 2, so this is the first year that people actually have to make tough decisions about drops to get their roster compliant in September. But there's more than likely going to be somebody that's relevant out there. Whether it's a rookie that breaks out that hasn't been picked up or just a case of someone just too much depth and they can't keep somebody. Like even last year, some of the guys that got picked up, I think Raheem Mostert was a waiver wire pickup at some point. It's irrelevant now, but like a guy like DeAndre Washington, who came in when Josh Jacobs got hurt, became relevant. Someone like Mike Boone, even though again he sucked, but relevant for at least a week. But like these guys become available, so sometimes you're right. Like shopping a high pick for someone where you might miss out. That's where I just disagree with trying to just trade picks for the sake of doing it, especially now.
That leads into a question I actually have for you guys that I didn't think of before. Is me and Phil were talking about this. What do you value $200, like your budget, $200 blind bidding dollars, in terms of picks? What is $200 of blind bidding dollars worth?
I guess I've never thought about that.
Neither did we until this came up, because
Yeah.
when we were talking about these trading, when Phil was trading players for blind bidding dollars, I was like, well, you should have tried to get a fourth for some of the stuff. And then it kind of hit our head like, all right, what's the difference between blind bidding dollars and a fourth? How much blind bidding dollars?
Well, okay. Well, Well, I mean, for what it's worth, I like for Tony Pollard, the original offer was a fourth round pick and five blind bid dollars. So I just counted with 10 blind bid dollars and it got accepted. So is a fourth round pick worth five blind bid dollars?
I think y'all are crazy, bro.
What do
To
you
me,
think?
I think I wouldn't even trade a fourth round pick for 100 blind bid dollars.
Right. Like I don't think it's really worth much. I think it's worth more. Like I think we've mentioned on a prior podcast where I just think spending your money wisely is just where the value is in that.
It's possible, but you add in 200 blind bid dollars and you're getting every player you want.
Yeah,
true.
You could just outbid. If there's a week where someone like that's not on a roster, say a Mostert pops up and it was like we saw him like all of a sudden break out one week and then now he's on the waiver wire and everyone's going to want him, you are guaranteed to get him. Yeah. I think that's worth more than a fourth.
Well, go back to because I saved my blind bid dollars and that's why I was able to bid high and just outbid everybody.
It was also late
Washington.
in the year. Yeah,
right. And
when no one else
but I think I spent like $75 on DeAndre Washington, which now there's no reason to do that. But in week 13, like you lose it. Like the money doesn't carry over.
Yeah.
Should that be a thing we do? If you don't spend your blind bid dollars, they carry over.
It's an option to do.
Maybe that's the way to go. Maybe that will then you're not.
That adds another layer of
that'd be crazy.
Strategy. Yeah.
But like if someone,
the only reason why I didn't want that is because I feel like then, I mean, the teams that aren't good are just going to save their blind bid dollars for next year. Whereas if they know they're going to lose them, they might as well pick the guy up and just see if he pans out and wait till next year. Like so I feel like it keeps it more competitive.
True. I don't know. It's just tough because I feel like they're clearly not useless because but I mean, as terms of what it's worth, I don't think I would trade a pick for any blind bid dollars. I think I would just deal with the hand I'm dealt, and if I have to spend, if like a guy pops up and I have to spend $100, so be it. And if it flops, so be it. I think that's just what it is. Like, I don't think you're ever going to see some ridiculous first round pick for 200. Like, never, not like that. But like, I don't put it's clearly valuable late. It's valuable late in the season. Maybe that's where the value is. Maybe if a guy's like, oh shit, this guy's there. Can I work a deal for a bad team? Can I trade up third for $100 and then I can outbid?
That's a deadline deal.
Maybe that's
where me and Phil got. We got to like $200 or 100% of the budget is probably worth like a late third in the right situation.
It has to be that, oh shit, this guy broke out, and then when your waivers start on a Tuesday, somebody goes fishing for that deal so they can outbid.
Or if Ben Roethlisberger gets dropped.
Right. Exactly. Before people understood the Superflex rules and value.
Yeah. Then he picked up Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
What? Please, we've been down this road enough. Stop. He's already dead.
No. But if in my case, right, my argument for that is I watch so much college football and I do so much like research. It could be wrong research, but I just feel a sense of confidence in that draft pick. I think I could like do okay with that draft pick.
True. I mean, you and NFL scouts. I mean, clearly, how many real life draft picks bust?
Big time fact.
But it's just like
and NFL scouts all suck. That's what Mike just said.
Yeah, and weathermen too.
But I don't know. I just think like.
Did you know that weathermen don't know the time? By the way, go back 15 years, Luch.
Jesus Christ!
Sorry, it's an
sitting in
inside
Phil's
joke
parents' house.
Phil will know that one, yeah.
Again, as like to offer the contrarian viewpoint, I think blind bidding dollars and certain picks, I would say like third and fourth round especially, I'd say they're actually closer in value, like a certain percentage watermarks, because you think about the percentage of times that a draft pick hits, like we've talked about, versus there's got to be studies on it
there is, yeah.
of the percentage of times that a waiver pick hits, and even just for like a week, or if you're using that draft pick to buy safety in having more money or that kind of thing. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think I personally just devalue picks more, and that makes me more lean towards that.
Well, I mean, because blind bid dollars spent on the right guy could win your team a title versus a third round pick.
Not just win your team a title, but it could be a guy that continues to be good for your team.
Right, exactly.
Like look at Mostert. Mostert is still valuable.
That's my hope. Like, I mean, I tried shopping him for a second, but no one bid, so that's why I'm all right. I'll hold him and hope for the best.
I said this on a previous episode, but I think it's one of those things where it's just like everyone has in their head, they're like, well, I could have got Mostert off the waiver wire, so why am I going to give a second round pick for it?
I just think it's because San Francisco has the opportunity to have like 4 different starters.
Right,
that's also true.
It's more that, but like I get the whole waiver thing, but that's why my feeling is I have a price. I'm not just going to sell for the sake of selling.
Mm-hmm.
If I have Mostert and he becomes a 4th string running back, okay, I didn't.
It's the same thing with Tyrod Taylor. I picked up Tyrod Taylor off waivers for like nothing last year,
right? And
I'm not going to just sell him just because someone wants him. I want to get him for him.
Well, that's the thing. If you can even start him in fantasy for 2 games, I don't know. Like I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. That's more than you expected.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my feeling. Like I know, like again, I hate bringing up the Dynasty subreddit all the time, but according to them, you should just sell. But like that's why, like again, like someone like Darren Waller, I have my set value, and if no one's going to pay him, that's fine. Now I have a second tight end, and again, even if he sucks, I took him in round 20 something, so I don't care. There's no value there.
Yeah, at some point, the potential for the points or even just the safety of having a backup in your roster is more valuable than.
It's more valuable than I'm sure like okay, could I downgrade my value and like flip Waller for like a 3rd or something? Like sure.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would pay a 3rd for Waller.
Right, sure. But I'm not. But I mean, I'm not gonna do that. Like even like I said, it needs. You never know. Like, and I think there's a lot of guys. Like I think a lot of guys, like especially when I get those emails about like trade bait. It's like, okay, like I'm sure everybody has a price for all your players and you're not necessarily bending on it with exceptions, unless it's someone, okay, if he's like a drop candidate,
everyone has a different definition of what trade bait should be like valued at. A lot of people put them on there just because they want to see, for example, Tom throwing Lamar Jackson out there. It doesn't mean he wanted to get rid of Lamar Jackson. It was just to get that in people's heads.
Well, it's because I saw what Joey got for Tua and I was like,
Other people, like personally, the way I see trade bait is those are the players that you'd be willing to sell at their exact value.
Yeah.
Like I'd exactly what they're worth. You could trade for that, and I'll accept your offer. That's kind of how I view trade bait.
Right. Exactly. Like
it doesn't mean I'm trying to get rid of them. Like I'm not trying to get rid of David Johnson. I'm not trying to get rid of Evan Ingram. It's just if you offer me exactly what they're worth, I'm going to trade them.
Right.
Makes sense.
That was my offer, Stephon Diggs, to everybody for their first theory of, okay, that's my price. So if I can get that to move up and get the guy I want in the draft, then so be it. But I'm not mad that I didn't have to trade. Like, it's just one of those, like, sure, it might be okay. Oh, you offer this to everybody, but it's like how many times do you get texts? Hey, I got this offer. Did you get the same thing? Of like guys, literally they send to the entire league.
Yeah, I did that with the
exact same trade. Right, exactly. So it's like that.
I did it with Ryan Finley too, and it worked.
Yeah, exactly. I think people took off from that. Just like, hey, if I offer this to every team, somebody will hit accept.
It was Alex Hoffberg's idea, man. So
credit to him, and he gets nothing to show for it, except okay, give him credit. But all right, I mean, we can talk about all this shit all day long. There's no fan mail this week, right?
Unfortunately, no.
It's disappointing.
Our ratings are dropping, man. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
we didn't even get hate mail.
That's that's really a shame. I mean, new number 1 fan, Joey Doyen didn't even reach out. He didn't even get. I guess he's probably mad he didn't get another uncut version.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure the uncut versions are a lot more exciting.
Yes, you get the stuff that's not edited, like the coughs and
Oh yeah,
and whatever else that we leave in, all the
Riveting.
bullshit all the bullshit we discuss before we start gets left in or something.
Tom, I know since we don't have much on the docket here to talk about,
No.
I know we're going to analyze your team in a little bit. But
Yeah.
I thought maybe we could get, since you had a ton of draft picks this year.
Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe you just wanted to like talk about some of those players a little bit.
Yeah, let me throw them up on my phone screen.
Well, I can tell you right now that your first pick too, but
okay, hang on. Let me just say, okay. So what was, since before you go through it, the kind of the road to get to what the picks you had?
Yeah.
So you initially had 1.7.
Yes.
Yes.
So that was traded in a deal that got you Tyler Boyd and Marquise Brown.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd, Marquise Brown, and some other assets, and I ended up trading my 107 and Michael Gallup.
Okay, which now it's looking really good since, assuming that Gallup takes that value hit.
Well, Gallup,
so at least you sold them high.
Gallup and what maybe DeAndre Swift or something.
Right.
Ended up being for Boyd and
whatever that seventh
what
pick
would
was.
you have taken at 7? You said you probably would have taken Dobbins. So you could think of it as Dobbins and Michael Gallup for Boyd and Marquise Brown.
So then you use, I know,
and whatever else you got.
And then from there you trade Juju Smith-Schuster. So then it got you 1.2. So why trade? What was the thought of trading Juju?
I don't believe in Juju as much as I did. B, I think if he stays in Pittsburgh, Roethlisberger is going to leave soon, and I don't trust him with backups as I saw last year. And if he leaves to go somewhere else, I don't know where he's going to go. So I can't really trust that either. So if I could get the value for him, I'll just get the value for him.
Okay. So then you're at 1.02. So you traded that. I mean, we don't, I mean, it seemed like an obvious choice. You were offered what could turn into the 1.01 in 2021, which could be Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
So that it's kind of a no-brainer to accept that because you've got other stuff in addition to that, but that's a big thing to have, especially when you're already in position to be a playoff team. I don't think staying at 1.02 necessarily. I don't think trading that pick away necessarily hurts your chances this year at all. It's not one of those. But if you did stay at 1.02, what would your pick have been?
See, that's the thing. I wanted to get rid of 1.02 when I got it, just because if I would have kept 1.02, I was going to overpay for J.K. Dobbins.
So you would have taken him at 2, even though he ended up going 10th in our draft.
I would have taken him. I think he's the best player in the draft.
So you would have. Wow. So even over like all those guys, you would have went Jake even over Taylor, over Akers, over.
I think he's in the best position. I don't know. I think he's a beast. I like him a lot. I don't necessarily believe in some of the players that were like taken in the top 10. I don't think they're that great.
Okay.
You can make the argument for Taylor. You can make the argument for Akers, in my opinion. Other than that, I don't trust really any Detroit Lions player ever.
I don't blame you.
Edwards-Helaire wasn't even that good of a running back until Joe Burrow became good.
Yeah, and I actually, even with Joe Burrow, I remember texting Lucho a couple months before the actual NFL draft saying, I can't get on board with CEH. Like, I'm just struggling to see it, man. Like, I don't know. So I obviously in KC, that's the biggest boost you can get. But I agree with you himself.
Yeah, I didn't believe in Tua really. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I didn't really believe in Tua, and I didn't want to pay that high for Herbert. So to me, it would have been Dobbins. So that's why as soon as I got it, I was like, all right, now I'm going to see what I can do to flip it. I happened to just receive a text message 5 minutes later with 8 picks offered my way.
That's why I said I'm said it was a definite no-brainer to take it with the chance of having that lottery ticket for Trevor Lawrence. And honestly, worst case scenario, like we like I said, unless Kyle has like some miraculous like holy fuck season,
that's
like
my luck.
you're pretty much looking at like a top 3 pick at worst. So you figure one of the 2 quarterbacks like
Jamar Chase.
Like we've discussed other possible guys. We're still like obviously a year away from the the 2021 draft, but so I think having that, and like I said, it didn't hurt your roster this season to trade that pick.
No, I mean initially 8 picks were offered my way, as I said before.
Yeah.
And his first round next year wasn't in it. So I countered. I didn't even counter. I just said, are you willing to part with that first round pick next year? He came back with 6 picks, and that first round pick was in it. And I clicked accept immediately.
Right. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm glad I asked you that. I never actually asked you what would have been your plan had you stayed put.
Yeah. Alex knew I was taking Dobbins at 2.
We went golfing the day before, and we started talking about draft stuff and trades. And I knew about the Juju thing. And
if you didn't trade if you were at 1.07, what would your plan of attack been at that pick?
Either it would have been best running back available.
Okay.
So if
So it would've been
Dobbins was still there, I would have taken him.
Okay.
Who was gone by that time at 7?
6 and 7 were Swift and Akers, both
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Phil. So.
Okay, so
Yeah. So you had,
I think
yeah,
he would have
Burrow,
taken.
yeah.
Honestly, I think he would have taken Akers at 6, but I'm not sure.
So for me, it would have been between Dobbins and Akers. Those were my two.
I think
Because
Akers
Taylor was gone, so it's
Yeah.
not even-
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, that's interesting. I mean, that's interesting. No, just because your map to where your picks ended up just kind of ended up being like a roller
It's
coaster.
very weird. It was
I know.
very
As
So
weird.
then,
As soon as you said you take J.K. Dobbins at 2, after I picked him, I was like, oh hell yeah, there's someone else that believes in that.
right.
Because I wanted
Right.
J.K. Dobbins. That was who I wanted out of all, not all of them. I would have taken Taylor.
If I would have kept that second pick and picked J.K. Dobbins, this episode it would have been a roast session on Comedy Central. I would have got destroyed for that pick.
You already thought it was going to be a roast session.
Yeah,
This is true. It usually is though.
I mean, we're in the playoff teams.
I just really believe in Dobbins. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. I looked at all the film for all the running backs because we'll get into it, but I need a running back on my team. I was looking at all the film. I was watching all the games. I just think Dobbins is a beast. I mean, a little bit skewed because Ohio State's just a really good team, but I like him. I like him a lot.
All right.
Does him sitting behind Mike Weber for a year in Ohio State worry you? The fact that a guy that's bad was able to start over him?
No, because guys in college, the college is a different game. So a guy could be a superstar in college and not translate. I just think that J.K. Dobbins is the complete package.
All right. Hey, interesting analysis of your roller coaster draft trading, which
That's
all
how it
started,
goes, bro.
which it all began in the parking lot of rest in peace, the New York Guardians.
Yeah.
Hey, they're not dead yet.
No, they're dead.
They're pretty
Nope,
dead.
nope. Someone can still buy the XFL.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Who's
Vince
it gonna
is gonna
be?
rebuy the XFL.
Right.
We've already said it. The XXXFL.
Ha!
All right, but
all right. So then,
I have,
all right. So,
I have your
so-
draft picks up if you want me to go through it.
Yeah,
do you
sure.
want-
I just
yeah.
want to say one thing on the draft. If Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State ended up declaring, I would have done what was necessary to trade to get
I'm
Hubbard.
a huge
I feel
fan
you.
of him as well.
Absolutely feel you on that.
So that's my final statement on that.
How do you turn down a man named Chuba Hubbard?
You can't.
I just
Awesome.
want to say it. Every time I look at my roster, I feel like, oh, I feel at ease.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
101, Chuba Hubbard.
All right, well, here's your
yeah, do
draft.
you
We'll
wanna-
start off right here. Yes, sir.
yeah, go through his draft.
2.02, which the pick you ended up getting from Anthony, I believe, is part of the Juju.
Shocker.
Or was it?
Well, I
part
was
of the
waiting
Juju-
for that.
Was it part of the Juju trade, or did you already have that pick from somewhere else?
No, that was part of the trade.
Okay. Yeah, and you picked Keyshawn Vaughn there.
Yeah. That was really just the best running back available. And I'm not confident with that pick, but I needed him.
Yeah, makes sense. There's not much talk. We'll get more into your running backs as a whole.
Yeah.
When we talk about your team. 2.06, you took T. Higgins.
I like this pick a lot, by the way. I think this is this is a great value at that spot, by the way.
The only thing that was not stopping me, but the only thing that I was worried about was I already have Boyd. So I didn't want to double up on Cincinnati wide receivers. I don't think anyone wants to double up on Cincinnati wide receivers. But I just said, screw it. I'm doing it. T.
Did you
Higgins
wa-
has upside, man.
Is there a place you have him on
definitely.
your? Sorry, is it
No.
T. Higgins? Where was he on your ranking of wide receivers?
He was in tier 2, so
Okay. Where there, like, a
he
bunch
was
of other
he was right with for instance, my rankings were a little bit weird. I went according to my gut feeling with a lot of the guys. I had him right above Jalen Reagor, and I had who did the Jets get? Mims. I had Mims right there too. So I don't know. I just decided on T. Higgins.
A lot of people had Higgins actually, pretty high. The combine brought him down a bit, but a lot of people had him in that second tier and above other guys. And Lucho, actually, you might have talked about this before, but you took Michael Pittman 2 picks before Higgins, right?
It was between
Is there-
the two of them.
Okay, I was gonna say, was it a reason
And Visca.
that? Yeah, was it a reason that you still liked T. Higgins, right? There wasn't a reason why you passed on T. Higgins.
It was more. I kind of figured they were pretty similar as players. T. Higgins has better tape, but The coaching staff is definitely behind Michael Pittman in Indy, and he has more of a direct path for snaps, even directly. So it was a toss up.
Higgins also played for a better program, so
True.
look better. He's playing for the best QB in college football, so at the same time, I don't even know who USC's quarterback was.
I just want to say to Lucho that I had Michael Pittman one spot above T. Higgins.
See, it's like splitting hairs when you get to that.
I also trust. Yeah. I just trust Chris Ballard in general too.
Yeah,
I think he's a good GM. So if he likes a guy, then I'll like a guy too. Pretty much
makes sense.
I did inquire with Tom about that 2.06 pick because I was interested in Higgins at that spot, but obviously it just discussions ended up nowhere. But
your next pick, Tom, at 3.02, which I was religiously trying to get this pick or any pick in this range up to this pick. You took Brian Edwards because it's the exact guy that I wanted too. I think my final offer to you ended up being all 2022 picks, but it was a second, third, and fourth, all for that 3.02. And once you
I wanted Edwards. Yeah. He was still on the board. I felt like he was falling a little bit.
It's my favorite value of the draft. So.
I have my list here of my rankings, and I had him in the same category as guys like Chanel, Ayuk, Claypool.
Yep,
so I was like, I'm taking this guy.
All right, nice.
3.05, you took Darrington Evans.
I like this pick a lot based on my 2.12. I took AJ Dillon, and for me at that spot, it was between Dillon and Evans because it's that scenario of is this team gonna let the starter walk? In Evans' case, it's if Derrick Henry leaves after this year, then Evans becomes like the de facto starter. Like if it translates to, I know exactly, but it's one of those with a third round pick. I mean, if those are the rounds, like even at my pick at 2.12, that's why I was just like, let me just take this maybe guy. That's why I had Evans on my board at that spot, and I went AJ Dillon instead, just because I already had Aaron Jones, so at least the handcuff could be there if Jones walked.
Yeah.
But that's why at that pick I understood it a lot, because if Derrick Henry walks and this guy turns into something, then shit, man, you got really good value for a third round pick in that. That's my feeling. It's not even about being high on the guy. It's being like high on like that situation.
That's the only reason. Like I had AJ Dillon high too, just for that same reason. Darrington Evans, I put in the same category as like Zach Moss, for instance. Obviously I knew Zach Moss had the notoriety. He was not overhyped, but he had the hype, right? There's guys in our league that they don't know who Darrington Evans is. You see what I'm saying? So
are you talking about your roommate?
Oh, well, yeah, but there's other – you think guys like – no offense, sorry, Skylar, but you don't know who Darrington Evans is, I think.
We're going to get a group.
Skylar's going to be on – he's going to be on the podcast next week, so I feel like all this stuff of us shitting on him, he can at least defend himself.
I shit on him for that because when I drafted Alvin Kamara in our other league, he looked at me and said, "Who the hell is Alvin Kamara?"
Oh, a few years ago.
I was so mad that you drafted Alvin Kamara.
That was so funny.
So bad.
That was funny.
I think that was one of the years where I didn't have one of those mid picks right around that range.
Which, by the way, you're talking about a different league.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Which you're looking at the 2-time defending champ.
Wow, what a small trophy.
Wow, dude.
Of our old redraft.
Hey, can you bring the garbage bin you got?
I had to get a trophy in there somewhere. I don't have our own league's trophy.
You're the only one left in that league. We all left. No wonder why.
That's why. Please, you don't think I was? I wasn't mad that everybody left. Mike, no offense to people in that league, but I instantly said that I'm instantly better off with some of the people we got. No offense to who joined the league in your guys' place, but
wow,
Mike,
wow,
we've all been on the trophy.
My name is on there.
It is in fact on there if you look closely.
Hey, 2014. There you go. Luch 2013.
2013, 2014.
Douchebag hat. And Rick Perlman. Oh my.
Rest in peace, Rick Perlman.
These are such good names, man.
At least I'm the first. Hold on. Oh yeah, I'm the first.
And Joey's fucking name.
Yeah.
Joey
I was gonna
did.
say I'm the first back-to-back, but Joey did.
No,
win
Joey
2
was back
years
to back
straight.
because he had Bell and Brown in their
Yeah,
prime.
and he kept them.
I know.
And he got them in like super late.
I did say because I had to start the new side with mine. I wanted, instead of this, I wanted to just put it diagonally and waste 6 years worth of space on this trophy. But
Oh, that pisses me off.
good times. Tom, you're on the Anthony trophy in that league though.
Yeah, because Anthony drafted my team.
Oh man, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna
Was
do
that the
with
one where
league
he
this
took
year.
Tony Romo?
He took Tony Romo in the second round of that draft for me. Thanks a lot, bro.
Oh man, but anyway.
And then he kept the kicker for me.
Oh my god.
Who was the kicker, man? Who was Seattle's kicker?
Hauschka?
Hausch-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I kept
You
him.
would have been better off with the auto draft, like when Dad won it that year after being on. He was
Yeah.
on a cruise or something.
2017 was his year.
Yeah, that's a fact. All right.
All right, well, back to the draft. Actually, is there anything you wanted to say on Darrington Evans down?
I just think that if Derrick Henry either goes down, which he won't because he's an Autobot, or he walks or holds out or gets traded or whatever the hell running backs do nowadays, I at least have someone that has the opportunity to be a starter there. So
He doesn't
I'm
even
happy
need
with
to
it.
go down with the way that they play their running backs.
that's true.
He's definitely going to get breather plays. He's probably going to get a lot of pass plays. And
Well, especially
the way that they're set up-
Dion Lewis leaving. I wonder what that does in terms
Yeah.
of just running backs getting targets.
Especially the way that they're set up, they're not going to run 2 tight end sets unless they want to bring out another blocker to make up for Jack Conklin not being there. But they're probably going to run a lot of heavy back sets. So there's a good chance Evans is going to be on the field anyway.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, as a third round pick, again, when you get past the second round, it's kind of just you're throwing your name in there. You're trying.
Yeah.
So with that, I was more than comfortable to take him. What was that, 305?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was more than comfortable taking him there.
All right, 3.11. You took Joshua Kelly.
Again, same kind of a situation. I feel that if Eckler goes down, if whatever, I mean, again, maybe.
Yeah,
You know,
3.11.
like the same. Like if you drafted Eckler as a rookie, that's kind of it's in the same position. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to name your fourth round picks all at once. 4.01, you took Quintez Cephas. 4.02, you took Devin Asiasi. And 4.07, you took Anthony Gordon, the QB. Since I know there's definitely people that don't know who Anthony Gordon is.
Josh Gordon.
All right, I just want to say, Quintez Cephas I think he might be the sleeper of the draft.
Who was
He
it?
was-
Was it who's the fucking corner that the
Okuda
Kuda? Yeah.
for Ohio State.
He said that Cephas was the best wide receiver he played against, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was an All-American until he had those rape allegations. He was forced to miss an entire season. Yeah, there were false
What?
allegations, they say, but
Allegedly.
apparently, I mean, he was a beast,
Allegedly.
and he was a beast when he came back last season too. So that obviously hurt his draft stock. I saw him, I took him.
Unfortunately, I don't trust any Detroit players. So
Yeah, I don't.
This
I
is
really
true.
don't.
Receivers,
but,
I
whatever.
think you can probably maybe trust the receivers more than running backs.
Well, I got 2 of
Maybe.
Detroit receivers
as long as
now,
Matt
so.
Stafford's there. Yeah.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's right.
Or
Didn't
Jeff Driscoll.
Dan Orlovsky making a comeback?
Jeff Driscoll is now on Denver.
I know.
I don't like, as a Florida Gator fan, I do not like Jeff Driscoll. As far as Asiasi goes, I don't know, man. I wanted to pick a tight end, and I figured he was the best one at the time.
Definitely a weak tight end class this year outside
Horrible.
of Colham and Komet.
I don't even like Cole
Cole
Kmet.
Kmet. It's like it helps that they got rid of Trey Burton, but
Right, but
And then-
again, are you that like it's not like last year
no,
where
it's
you
Trey
had
Graham.
like last year, like last year we had what Hawkinson and Fant were the big names. Like where would they have gone?
and then
in, like,
there was
our
still
rookie
Irv
draft,
Smith
you know?
too.
Oh, that's true.
Hawkinson was for sure a first round rookie pick.
Okay.
Noah Fant was one of those guys that for the right team he could have been a first round pick, but
Okay.
probably early
He was
second.
a
And then
fringe guy.
Irv Smith was also a second round pick.
Okay.
Oh.
Makes sense.
And then lastly, as far as Anthony Gordon, I mean, if he hits, then I'm a genius.
I mean,
It's a super flex. Just take a fucking quarterback at that
Right.
point.
I was
On
like,
the off
Russell
chance.
Wilson's never gotten hurt, so the odds are, I mean, maybe.
Gonna happen
Not
eventually.
that I would ever wish that Russell Wilson gets hurt, but
Speaking of places that Cam Newton could be a backup.
Hopefully not Seattle.
I know. Anthony Gordon's literally the only other quarterback on the roster. So, like, by default, I'm pretty sure they haven't. I don't think they have anybody else.
I thought do they still have Geno Smith? Or did he retire?
No,
I thought he left. He's somewhere else.
Knocked out cold.
What is his name? Ik Enem Kapali, the linebacker. Why do I remember this? This is useless information. I'm gonna forget if I have a son, I'm gonna forget his birthday.
Sorry, Geno Smith. Geno Smith is still on the roster. Actually,
he's gonna get cut. Everyone knows.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I mean, they'll roll
right
with two. They'll roll with two quarterbacks or something. They'll save a roster spot, use it elsewhere.
He signed a 1 year,
$19 million,
$1.8 million contract, and $137,500 is guaranteed. So he could be cut easily.
See, they paid Geno Smith $2 million, so Cam Newton's gonna hold out and get paid more than that.
All right. Well, anyone else have any cool stuff going on with the league? Any rumors?
Hold on, real quick.
I
want to know what y'all think about my draft. As if you had to grade it, A, B, C, D, F. Hopefully not. I want to know what you guys honestly think about it.
A+. You got a fucking haul of picks with this draft, and you still got some solid players out of it.
I mean, this was definitely like a deep draft, but I mean, considering you didn't have a first, you made all the moves you made. I'm giving it an A just based on the fact that you managed to get that Kyle first next year. In all this, like players aside, I need to grade like the moves in general. Like again, like all fucking 48 picks could bust. Who the hell knows like where we're at with this? But it's like an A just simply based off all the moves you made. I just think you're in a good spot now because I think you got good value guys, but just getting that first next year. Like I said the same thing for Joey. Like Joey did great with the moves he made. Not so much the players. I think you got some steals and some potential. Like again, it's not even low risk. Like you had so many 3rd and 4th round picks. It's just like extra dudes. Maybe the troubles come when you have to if you have to cut guys. Like I'm not sure what your roster number's at, but maybe you have to make some tough cuts. But I think. Like overall, like based on the moves you made to get where you're at, I'd say just like an A based on that. I'd only downgrade it because of the moves you made because you had guys you really liked that you sacrificed to move back and gain future picks. Like I don't know.
I'm gonna be the asshole here and only give you a B+, and there's 2 reasons for that.
On a roll still.
One. Yeah, you don't have a first round pick. I mean, you did well for the picks you have, but I don't think you got a premier player. T. Higgins is honestly my favorite of all of them. Well, Bryan Edwards is probably actually my favorite of all of them, but T. Higgins is probably the best one, at least ranking wise, that you got. And it was good value, but to miss out on so many of those first round picks, you got the first round pick from Kyle, so I'm not really taking that into consideration. If I took that into consideration, sure, maybe I'd push it up to an A- or something. It also depends on what Kyle does. I mean, I don't like to project draft picks out that far to say, like, this guy's a top 3 pick, but, I mean, Kyle's team is pretty bad, so it's tough not to do. But the other thing I don't like, and there was just one problem, and it was taking Keyshawn Vaughn at 2.02. And I don't blame you saying you needed a running back, and that's why you took him, but that's one of the things that I personally try not to do in rookie drafts. Is I don't like to draft a guy just because I need that position when there's other guys I like better than him. So you need a running back, but I personally would have taken any of these other wide receivers: Denzel Mims, Michael Pittman, Chenault. I mean Higgins up at that point too.
I agree with that because if I didn't pick Vaughn, I would have picked Pittman.
I would see if you picked Pittman, I would have this would be an A for me, easy. But just get Keyshawn Vaughn because point. I always think that you could have still traded for a running back. I mean, sure you need it, but do you still have your own first round pick next year too?
Yeah, I have 2 first rounds. I have Kyle.
Yeah, so I mean, you could have not taken Keyshawn Vaughn. You could have traded for a different running back. I don't know, someone that's I like, for example. I mean, not saying David Johnson. That's just the one I know off the top of my head because he's on my trade block. But you could have traded for a guy that.
Well, I thought with my theory with my first round pick was that I was gonna need to spend it on a quarterback. That's why
this year.
Yeah, if I wanted to really
Yeah,
contend, I figured I would need to throw that first round pick to get that quarterback.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into.
I'll argue
mitigated.
you didn't.
Yeah.
Like I feel like unless you were going to take Tua at the second pick, if you stayed there, like I have Justin Herbert, but I probably can't rely on him this year unless the Chargers start really bad.
Even
so, I don't necessarily
you can't rely on. Even Joe Burrow, you can't rely on. You can't rely on a rookie.
Yeah, I think if you're trying, like that's why a team like Kyle's, whatever, sit a year with Joe Burrow, let him grow, type of shit. But like for me, I didn't take Justin Herbert to win this year. I took him because I'm going to be quarterback needy because Breeze is retired.
Yeah.
If not this year, maybe I get next year out of him.
Well, I basically meant to use my first round pick to trade for a quarterback. I made a quarterback deal. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But whatever. But
yeah, when we get to your team,
I thought that I was going to have to use that first round pick because Kyle's first round pick to me is untouchable. But I thought I was going to have to use.
It's untouchable unless Kyle starts doing well and you can see it's not.
Well, yeah. But right now, I guess you could say. But I thought I was going to have to use my first round pick in order to acquire a quarterback sometime during the season because if I really wanted to make a run at the championship, if I believed in my team, then I thought I would have to pay up.
Your eyes full hearts.
Oh yeah, can't lose.
That's true. But yeah, I think. Listen, over all things considered, I think it's fine. I think you had a good roster before the draft, so I think it's just about adding depth and guys you hit on.
You're good.
Thanks, bro. Well, thanks, guys. Right. I was curious as to what y'all thought about my drafting strategy.
All right, so let's
how you want to build your team. It's all down to your ethos, you know.
All right, so let's start getting into these rosters now. I'm like forgetting how the regular season finished, but I feel like you don't want to be like Phil and just rush through your team and log off and like hop off. So I feel like if we do Nick's team first, you're all
I was saying let's do Nick's team anyway, just to give Tom a break talking about his team, and then we'll jump back into it.
Yeah. So we'll do Nick's team first, so that way, because we clearly want everybody's thoughts on Nick. So we have you here, so we'll do it.
Yeah, I got some thoughts on Nick.
All right.
Hey, fun fact: while I was golfing today, I saw Nick and at Vassar. I was on hole 5 at the time, and he was on hole 8, and his drive landed on the hole 5 green. And then. That's how I found out he was there. And another thing that happened while he was walking up to the green, the guys on hole 7, their drive went through the trees and hit Nick in the shoulder.
Really? Yeah. Wow, I gotta talk to him about that.
Dude, if I come out to Vassar, that's what's happening if you take me out there. So full warning.
You're gonna do great.
No, I'm not. I'm awful.
I also think I'm late to this podcast every single time because I'm golfing before this episode every single week.
I would say it doesn't matter regardless. Even when I go back to work, I'm not going to give a shit. It's like whatever. It's not like it becomes 11 o'clock we'll start.
You don't want to start at 11?
Yeah.
Night golf. Big glow in the dark stuff. Well, actual night golf is really cool.
Glow golf.
But.
Get the old like Fox hockey puck track on your ball or something.
Well, what is that, Tom? Have you ever been to night golf?
I have not.
I know they did it at New Paltz once.
Really?
And we didn't get to go to. We were thinking about it. I don't know if I was talking to you or if it was just Dan Francis, but I've seen like things about night golf and it's really cool. Oh, dude, I don't know who's Dan. All right. Well, on to next scene.
All right. So as always, we'll break it down position by position. So. By the way, Nick's team name, Alex Hawkburger Sucks. So all right, so we'll start with the quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo, Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers. That's it.
Hey, it's better than last year.
So just 3 quarterbacks on it. You're right, an improvement. He only had 2 quarterbacks on his roster in a super flex league. Someone got a dial-up modem going, by the way? Or is that just me hearing that?
That's my PC because it's hot. Sorry.
I hear it too, but it's
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
It literally sounded like a dial-up modem going. I mean,
when I have it programmed to when it hits a certain temperature, the fans all kick in for a little while.
It logs onto AOL. It logs onto America Online when it gets too hot.
Yeah, it gives the network. It gives the network card a rest.
Yeah, it magically inserts 1,000 free hours of America Online.
Tom's actually transmitting the nuclear codes right now, so you guys better watch out.
Yeah, I'm actually multitasking. I'm not even looking at the screen.
All right. So look, Nick's quarterbacks, like in theory, like they're okay, but for Dynasty, he could be in trouble sooner than later, just based on Aaron Rodgers being, what is he, 36 now, and Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think he's the greatest fantasy quarterback, but he's super inconsistent. He'll have weeks where he kills it, but it's usually against like the lesser teams, and then when he
the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, true. The one game they played where it was a fucking shootout somehow.
Bless.
And then Jalen Hurts, I think he just took him for the sake of taking a quarterback. But again, you never know with the Eagles. Like we've discussed with Jalen Hurts of like okay, what's gonna go on? Like what's gonna happen with Carson Wentz? Will he get hurt again? Will Hurts even be good in the pros? Because I saw tons of issues with his game in college enough, whether it was at Alabama or Oklahoma.
I was gonna say, have you seen him in Alabama? The dude couldn't even throw.
Right. So like I mean I get it. People are high on him. Just based on you can base it on Lamar Jackson's game, but Lamar Jackson's just such a better thrower than Jalen Hurts that I don't see the comparison.
Lamar Jackson is just also just in general way more athletic than
exactly. So like
there's not too many people on this planet that are as athletic as Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why like I thought the pick for the situation, it's fine because I think Jalen Hurts wouldn't have lasted until the third round for Nick. So like I get he had to take him, but for me, I didn't have Jalen Hurts that high to begin with. Like a lot of it did have to do with his situation being in Philly. Like maybe if he's on a team where he has a shot to be the starter in week 1, which I know is rare anyway. But I mean, I just feel like the only way he plays is if Wentz gets hurt because Wentz is on such a massive contract that I can't see them just being like, nope, Jalen Hurts is the quarterback now. He's going to be like a gadget player, and I think they'll have some plays, and like Doug Peterson will come up with stuff for him because he is athletic. But in terms of exactly, like I think that's his ceiling, and anyone that's and then I'm just going to say anyone that thinks Taysom Hill's like the next Saints franchise quarterbacks, like you're out of your fucking mind. Because I don't get it. I don't see the fascination with him, and I don't want to compare it just because but I don't see the love for Jalen Hurts regardless of his situation.
You can't compare the two of them because only one of those players actually knows how to throw a football, and it's not Taysom Hill.
Honestly, the Saints, not the Eagles, are the ones to take the next Taysom Hill and Tommy Stevens. So
this is true. They traded up to get him too.
Mr. Irrelevant, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's like, I don't know, man. So Nick's quarterbacks in general. So, all right, fine. Like this year, like anytime you have Aaron Rodgers on your team still, until you see that decline, Aaron Rodgers is top 5 fantasy quarterback, no doubt.
So you're
sorry, it wasn't Mr. Irrelevant. Mr. Irrelevant was Tay Crowder. I forgot about that.
Oh.
I was going to say, you're saying once you see that decline, so you're saying in 2015?
Wow, no.
There's your hot take for the day.
Shit.
I love it.
No,
I actually agree.
I think fantasy-wise, Aaron Rodgers is still there. He doesn't throw a lot of picks. Like he's still, for me, like he's still a top, a guy. His age makes me not want to trade for him, but
he has a gray beard now. He's old.
I resent that.
Alex is a good point, actually.
I think it's like probably like a mid QB1 and like a mid QB2. Personally,
honestly, Jimmy G is fine. I think he finished 19th or something like that. So that's
Jimmy G's a fine QB2.
In Superflex, it's fine. But again, I always again, maybe my values are skewed, but I always value guys are okay. Would this guy be a fantasy starter in a 1 QB redraft league? That's almost like how I value certain guys like that, and maybe it's skewed for me, and I need to get away from that. I probably do, but for me, Jimmy Garoppolo is a guy that is probably on waivers in redraft.
Yeah, but it's tough to think like that with quarterbacks because
I know it is. That's why I say I think my thinking and my valuing is flawed.
Yeah,
and I'm hypocritical because some of the guys that I have rostered on my own team make no sense with my logic. But I think in terms of just like valuing like how good a team's quarterbacks are I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is like that. Like maybe he's rostered, maybe he's not. It depends on the guys in your league and redraft, but it's fine for QB2. But again, like how long's Aaron Rodgers a QB1?
I also don't personally believe Aaron Rodgers is a QB1 anymore.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
I think he's.
I think that the way that they drafted, well, I mean, their draft was horrendous to begin with, but the way that Green Bay drafted, it's like you can tell that they want to be more run heavy. They already leaned on Aaron Jones a lot, and now they drafted A.J. Dillon too. I just think they're going in this direction, which a lot of teams in the league are starting to go. It's like they just want to be a run heavy team, and then Aaron Rodgers, since he doesn't throw picks, he's just going to be that above average game manager. But I don't think that's good enough to be.
He's gonna put up a fantasy production kind of like Tom Brady does.
Yeah,
in my
efficiency.
opinion.
So maybe he'll sneak in and be QB number 11 or 12, but I honestly I wouldn't count on it. I think he's more of the top, one of the best QB2s you can have. But as a QB1, I would not be happy with that at all.
I think he sneaks in to Tom's point. He sneaks in by playing efficiently like Tom Brady, but also still having the athleticism that Aaron Rodgers has and the more willingness to like actually scramble. You're going to get a little bit more out of him.
And the arrogance, so he'll just change the play every time.
So he's not going to get called by his mom during the game. So that's that. I think he could sneak into QB1. I wouldn't.
I don't know. I think the potential to be like a top 5, top 8 quarterback is there for sure for him. But like I agree. He
finished last year on a points per game basis, QB 14. And obviously, once again, I brought this up before, you got to take Jeff Driscoll out.
Yeah.
Because he only played 3 games. But then QB 13.
You do.
He missed it. He was QB 13.
Who did he finish? Who did he finish? Like, who were some, like, holy fuck, he finished below this guy? Like, who were some
Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Ryan Tannehill was absurdly efficient, too.
He finished below Kyler Murray. Matt Stafford. Jameis Winston, we all knew that, too. But Drew Brees. Yeah. Matt Ryan, Josh Allen, he was behind all those guys.
Josh Allen.
I don't want to hear smack talk about Jameis Winston, bro. He threw a touchdown on every play. Doesn't matter what team got the touchdown.
We're not talking enough about how Jameis broke the touchdown record. If you take out all
30,
the
baby.
Jimmy G he finished 19th, and again, take Jeff Driscoll, so 18. Points per game.
I just okay. I know for Superflex, like if you have a QB that's in the top 24, that's considered good. But so you're talking about 2 QBs on the lower end of that, which it's funny. Like I mean, I do enough fantasy research, but a lot of times I don't look at numbers as much as I should. Like shit like this. Like honestly, I would have never guessed that Rodgers on a points per game basis was QB 14. Granted, Jeff Driscoll, so QB 13. But it's But still, like I mean, I think if you tell like a casual fantasy football player, hey, Aaron Rodgers was QB 13, they'd be like, what the fuck? But like also, it does make sense, and like I should know. I have Aaron Jones. He scored a fucking boatload of touchdowns, so clearly 19. Just that is right. So that alone is taking away from Rodgers' production from his normal, 30, 40, whatever.
But that even proves my Brady point more because I had LeGarrette Blount one year, and he had 22 touchdowns with Brady. You know what I mean? So it's like history repeating itself.
I mean, but like he's still insanely like he's just like not. I mean, he's good. Like the ratios are just there. Like 26 touchdowns and 4 picks. Like you'll sign up for that. Like you'll sign up for the non-turnovers and like shit like that. And granted, I feel like you should almost like overlook the picks sometimes because like they are only worth -2. Like it doesn't like a guy like someone like Jameis Winston.
Well, I was going to say, look at
Jameis Winston. He can throw 30 picks, but he's still a top 5 fantasy quarterback or whatever he finished
top
at. Just
10,
top 10, right? 5. I mean, right, but like in that top tier, and as a game guy, you're like, oh my god, this fucking guy really like 30. But like someone like Rodgers, where 26 touchdowns to 4 picks, like as a team, as an NFL team, you're signing up for that 100 times out of 100.
I also I'm not saying that he's not going to be a QB1 in fantasy to bash Rodgers. I just think it's more the offense that's going to hold him back from me. I still think Rodgers has the potential to be a top 5 QB in fantasy.
But
I just think Matt LaFleur is not going to let him do it.
Matt LaFleur,
that's the thing. I think since McCarthy left, I mean, granted, it's been what, one season, but you can just see the. Yeah. But Nick's QBs overall, I just think dynasty wise, he's in trouble if he makes no moves. If he relies on look, Nick, not the most active fantasy player. He never makes free agency moves. He never makes trades. So just the fact that he even talked about draft picks was like a shocker this last month when we did the draft.
That's because I think he realized that it actually is important.
Yeah, he also, like I said, he made a counter offer to one of my trades, so I think he's going to be. I think season 1 he wasn't paying as much attention, but he's starting to realize that he can't go the same route he does in redraft and in keeper, where he could just do not much throughout the year and just draft every year and be in it.
Exactly. You have to be active and you have to do something. Yeah. You can't and I think he needs to make some kind of move at quarterback because clearly the clock's been ticking on Rodgers, and now more than ever with Jordan Love there, you're looking at what, this year and next year, and then I think
I'd say at best,
and then his contract, and then his contract allows Green
Bay
to
move on easier. But I could see also a possibility where they trade him after this year.
So then they figure out.
Who knows? But also, just to talk on Jimmy G, I've talked about this with other quarterbacks last week or 2 weeks ago or something, but Jimmy G finished as the 50th overall player on a points per game basis, right on par with BJ Chark and DJ Moore, and ahead of guys like Kenyon Drake, Robert Woods, Josh Jacobs, Calvin Ridley, Austin Hooper. So
all dudes that you think of as like Mike was saying, the dissonance between you think of this player and you're like, oh yeah, Amari Cooper versus Jimmy G, but it
just shows the power of Superflex, and a guy at Jimmy G is perfectly fine having your Superflex.
Right, especially as QB2. But again, I think he needs to make moves because I'm not saying he should have taken a quarterback with that first pick. It's very hard. We'll get to who we took. We've discussed Jerry Jeudy. It's you're not passing on someone like that, especially if he falls into your lap. But I just think maybe taking a quarterback at that spot would have benefited his team more in the long run. Because if he doesn't make any moves and then Rodgers moves on or whatever, and Nick doesn't have a plan, then he's going to be in trouble with just if Jimmy G becomes his QB1, and if Jalen Hurts doesn't pan out, which I just what's the
That's
ceiling for?
It's a lot.
What's the he took Hurts with 2.08. What's the ceiling for? I know we kind of touched on it, but really what's the best case scenario for Hurts? Even not this year, but down the road. He's on a team with you're already paying a franchise quarterback. So what happens? He gets through his rookie deal, and then what?
I feel that Hurts was that one dude in the draft where no one wanted to pick him, but someone eventually was going to have to just pick him.
Is he Pat White 2.0? Not in the sense of, hey, we just took this guy, but we don't know what to do, and then he just flames out because he never gets an opportunity?
Could be.
Potentially.
Possible.
I was thinking, to your point, I think his ceiling is early season Randall Cunningham, when he was a really good runner, but not a very good passer.
Okay. I think guys like that, and again, we've talked a million times about the rookies being at a disadvantage. This is even more. If there's somehow limited or no training camp or no preseason, because that's the only time. Preseason is the only time he's going to be able to show something. So guys like a guy like him needs the preseason to prove something real fast. Again, I'm not labeling him as a bust. He's in the worst possible spot to be fantasy relevant.
Especially considering the team definitely is. They're not going to just hand him this backup job because they love Nate Sudfeld and he knows the system.
Studfeld. I agree, but I don't know if you have the Fantasy Pros rankings up at all.
Oh, I actually do.
Get out of here!
I love those rankings.
I have them open right now.
So what's Nick's quarterback rating?
Oh, sorry. Those rankings. Oh no, I actually had the real rankings, not ours. But okay, yeah, I can pull that up in
probably 13th.
Oh shit! Out of 12, shots fired. But I don't know. I can't.
That's
for this
my
year,
QB ranking.
For this year, his QB ranks it's 10th.
Okay.
Really?
For Dynasty, it's 11th.
Wow.
Well, I could see
who's
that.
he above this year?
Probably
Let
me.
me guess.
That's a good question. It's hard to check this kind of
I know.
stuff.
Because you have to
Kinda
individually
every
go to
team.
each team.
Yeah. Well, let's see. He's ahead of Kyle. Kyle's 12th.
That makes sense.
And then there's one other person he's ahead of.
Is it Anthony? I bet just
No,
Watson.
because Anthony is Watson.
Because Watson just pulls him up.
It's
Which
Alex
pulls
Hochberg.
him up.
Oh yeah. Because we spent like a half hour on his quarterbacks in the
Baker.
Let's hold on. Quick side note, because we talked so much about Alex Hochberg's quarterback and should he? Tom, would you have taken Baker Mayfield where Alex Hochberg did, knowing
hindsight, but
it is, and Mayfield was coming off a good rookie year, but Deshaun Watson's there, Andrew Luck's there at the time. Like, would you have taken Mayfield over those guys still at that spot?
I believe last year, was it last year? Yeah. I believe last year I had Mayfield as the number 7 quarterback that I would draft dynasty draft.
So to answer your question, no.
Okay. Makes sense. Who did you
There's
have
a
him
few
behind?
I had him behind guys like Watson, guys like Luck. Who the hell else did I have him behind? I had him. Honestly, to be honest with you, the way I did it last year was I had those like 1-year quarterbacks kind of grouped together. I had Darnold, I had him, and I had Allen kind of similarly ranked as far as just guys that are very young that showed that they could be NFL starters. They all did it their first year. They showed that they were able to be a starter. So, I mean, the Bills getting better. Good position for Allen. Jets, if they ever fix the offensive line, Darnold showed that he could play. And Mayfield threw a lot of touchdowns his first year. You know what I mean? So that was kind of my theory. And then Lamar Jackson just happened to be the best one out of all of them. So it shows how much we know.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And the NFL, so.
Yeah, exactly. But all right. So Nick's quarterback's 10th. Like, sum it up. He's, again, 2020, I think he's fine. But again, going forward, he's got to figure out he needs a backup plan for sure. He needs to make some moves. So, all right. So running backs, that's
his strong spot. It's a strong spot for sure.
It is, yeah. So, all right. So I'll just, and keep in mind, I always go in alphabetical order, not by depth chart. So
really, you're not saying this is his best player?
All right. So Nick's running backs, you have Lynn Bowden, Matt Breida, Tyreek Cohen, Austin Eckler, Todd Gurley, Alvin Kamara, Dion Lewis, Wendell Smallwood, Chris Thompson, and TJ Yeldon. So a handful of these guys.
Smallwood's not even on a team.
Exactly. So I feel like a couple, now, and also Nick has 32 active players, so he's going to have to cut 4 guys before the season starts. I mean, Wendell Smallwood's one, TJ Yeldon's probably another. So like that's 2 cut candidates right there. But this is a really good group. I mean, you start.
Don't forget about some of the other players on his roster that aren't on teams either.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll clearly get to that, but it's like you figure. I mean, the running back one is Alvin Kamara, but you could also argue it's Austin Eckler at this point with the situation. But it's a good fucking spot to have because those are clearly your 2, and then to have Todd Gurley as probably a flex.
Todd Gurley this year I think is amazing.
Right, especially on a 1-year deal in Atlanta.
I argue that Todd Gurley is just as close. He's not above these guys. He's not at their level. Don't twist my words but he's very close.
Right. I think Nick's in a great spot.
Eckler.
Right, Nick's in a great spot to have 3 awesome starting running backs every week. This is an awesome group.
Yeah,
I'd say maybe even 4, depending on what Matt Breida can do.
Yeah,
this is true. And
if Saquon Barkley gets hurt, Dion Lewis gets a starting job.
Fuck it, 5 starting running backs.
The potential's there. I mean, just to have. I mean, and Dion Lewis, I'm not saying Dion Lewis could have been like at a football type of thing, but I mean, he could have gone elsewhere and been maybe like a 3rd string. But and for a guy like Dion Lewis, like he's going to get his snaps. The Giants are going to play 2 running backs. They're going to sit Saquon on some snaps, especially Saquon's injury history already. Like, what if he fucks up an ankle again?
Dude, I won a week last year with Wayne Gallman.
Right. So like you never know. So I mean, the Giants definitely upgraded their backup running back spot for sure. And it's Dion Lewis. Like he's gonna get snaps. He's awesome out of the backfield. He's a great PPR running back. He's proved that his entire career.
He was who knows if he still has anything left.
No, right, but like the potential's there, and again, it's just one of those. Sure, but again, we're talking about Deion Lewis as a running back 5. Some of these earlier teams, a guy like Deion Lewis would be like running back 3 on some of these other rosters.
Tariq Cohen, too. Tariq Cohen is still.
Yep.
He's still right. He's the same because
split out wide.
Nope.
And you have Chris Thompson. Chris Thompson.
Honestly,
Jay Gruden's boy.
Still with Jay Gruden, yeah. Still with.
And they hate fucking Len Fournette now, I guess.
Because he's bins.
No,
Fournette is bins.
We need to ease up.
We have Fournette, the guy who rosters Fournette.
Hold on, I'll be right back. You guys keep talking.
He wants to get out of here before he hears more Fournette.
Before he hears more Fournette shit talk.
He's gonna get.
But honestly, if we're really saying it here, I think Nick has obviously 2 RB1s, and in my opinion, has a third RB1 in Todd Gurley.
Right, I agree. I mean, you can always talk about the injuries with Gurley. Like, you don't know how healthy his knee truly is because
it's arthritic. It's not,
exactly,
I don't think it's
but like
really...
right. But if you listen to Sean McVay, he's like, oh my god, he's like 50 years old playing.
He also signed a 1-year deal with the Falcons, so they have no reason to
not run him into.
And who else is on the Falcons at this point? Brian Hill,
Kadri Allison,
Judge Ito Smith.
Exactly. So Todd Gurley's clearly far and away.
Oh no!
God.
There he is. There he is.
Bro, I can't believe the jersey doesn't even spell Fournette right.
Yeah. Doesn't even spell Fournette right, dude.
Well, it didn't say bins on it.
It also has more than 6 letters.
I love it. I threw it on the floor. Shouldn't disrespect Leonard like that.
Fournette.
Yeah.
F-O-R.
So, Lucha, you probably,
N-E-T.
I'm sure you've heard this before, but it was in the Madden League. Tom had Fournette on his team. And when he had the stream going, me and Mike would just be sitting in the chat saying, Fournette is bins, and we'd spell it F-O-R-N-E-T. And Tom would see it pop up as he's playing, and he'd be like, no, Fournette is not bins.
He's a monster.
Definitely on one. I'm pretty sure Fournette fumbled in that game a few times at some point.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It was also Madden, so it was bound to happen.
Yeah. Video games, bro.
Hey man,
Nick,
don't come at us about this. It's not us. It's fucking blame Shad Khan.
True. Best mustache in the game.
But also Ohms. Follow him.
Horrible team.
Also, All Elite Wrestling, the best wrestling on the planet at this point. But that's not anything to do with this. But
yeah,
is that a sneak peek at you and Skylar's podcast that might come back?
No, because I have no interest in doing wrestling again. I can't.
I'm gonna need something. I'm gonna need like the Crusher Craig Chronicles if we're gonna listen to wrestling.
But listen, Nick's like, I mean, I really hope his running backs aren't ranked 1. That's gonna piss me off. But
no way, bro.
But he does have an awesome group. Like, he has far and away great starters. Like, like is Austin Eckler a 1st-round redraft pick at this point?
I think it depends.
Yes, he is.
He's a fringe guy in my opinion.
He is. Sorry, I'm switching
Just
back.
Checking the ADP.
ADP of 10.
Wow.
So yeah, first round
in redraft.
At this point.
In redraft.
That's tough. If you're in a redraft, are you taking do you trust Austin Eckler in the 1st round?
I think he's proven himself.
Sorry, that is not his actual ADP. That's a running back ADP.
So he's running back 10?
Running back 10. Oops, sorry, I didn't realize I was still on that page. But
that's still a fringe first, depending on your league, though.
He's 13 overall.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially after last year when
I would trust that if I'm on the turn with 12 and 13, I would take Eckler with one of those. Like with my straight 1st rounder, that's tough though. If I'm like 8th, you know what I mean? Like
it depends. Yeah, it depends
but
on
like on the turn, like
depends on.
And again, I know we're a dynasty league, but I have to throw it out there.
What's his running back ranking?
They're 2.
Damn.
Wow.
Behind who?
But still, look how far he's come though. He was like forever like the fact that, and this happens all the time. I shouldn't be shocked, but the fact that something like Austin Eckler's now, you're talking about taking him in potentially 1st, but definitely round 2 of your redraft league.
He's behind only Skylar because he has Barkley, Derrick Henry.
Right.
It's hard to beat that.
Wait, what's Nick ranked? Second?
Second, behind Skyler at 1.
Really? Ugh.
Barkley, Derrick Henry. Can't beat that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's 2 top 5s.
Yep.
Jeez.
And then he still has guys like James White on his team, and then
That's true.
even
Whatever.
Naheem Hines, they go in this year with Philip Rivers. Who knows what's
That's true.
a decent
Whatever.
guy.
Whatever. I thought my
Lucho,
backs
you
were,
like
I
time.
thought
No,
my
you
backs
are-
were. I thought my
you're-
backs were first, but okay.
No, you're third, Mike.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Whatever. We'll do my team in 2 weeks. It's fine. I can wait.
Wow, what a fucking sick brag, dude.
I'll tell you that if we want to move into his wide receivers, he's 7th in the league at wide receivers. So.
All right. Yeah, but he's
That's right
he's
around
got a great group. We said 3 potential RB1s and definite like potential fantasy starters. So he's pretty good at running back. Receivers are could be
Real
that
quick,
could
you got to
be-
think. Yeah, those 3 running backs. That's his 2 starting running backs and his flex. So he only
For
has
sure.
to start. He only has
3.
to start 3 wide receivers now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So his receivers, let's see. Jaron Brown, another cut candidate who's still a free agent. Corey Coleman, who at this point could be
Kendrick
a cut
Bourne.
candidate
Yeah.
because he's hurt. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Kendrick Bourne,
Bourne. Yeah, Kendrick Bourne, Jaron Brown, Corey Coleman, Amari Cooper, Philip Dorsett, Will Fuller, Devin Funchess, Ted Ginn Jr.
Wide receiver 2 on the Packers, Devin Funchess. Oh wait, sorry, Alan Lazard is that. Or is it Valdez Scantling, your pickup, Tom?
They all suck.
Let's see. Rashard Higgins, Jerry Jeudy, Cooper Kupp, Marquise Lee, Paul Richardson, also still a free agent.
Telling you, don't even need to cut
Golden Tate and Jarius Wright, also still a free agent.
I had no
Don't even need
idea
to cut
Marquise
TJ
Lee
Yeldon.
was still playing.
He's on
I
the
thought
Patriots
He's
now.
in the Patriots, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he
Yeah.
retired after he got hurt.
Nope, Patriots
still
signed him this
there.
offseason.
Still there. So this isn't good. Amari Cooper's wide receiver 1, I guess, but for how long?
All
For a
right,
while.
listen.
Just
I
sign
need
that.
to get this off my
I think
chest.
you're. Sorry,
And I
go
need to say this. I need to say this on stream here, or not stream, but it will be streamed. My theory: Marquise Lee goes to the Patriots, and they will be signing before the season Blake Bortles. That is my theory.
You heard it here first, folks.
You
To
heard
be,
it here
the,
first.
to be the third string quarterback?
He's going to start with Marquise Lee.
What's that character from The Good Place that loves Blake Bortles? I can't remember his name.
There's a character that likes Blake Bortles.
One of the main characters. He's
I
from
thought Tom was young.
Jacksonville.
Hey, I thought Tom was the only guy.
Yeah,
No.
that's what I thought.
There's another
Fun
one.
fact, everybody, I have 7 Blake Bortles jerseys.
One for each game he's won.
Mike, I think you're not giving Amari Cooper enough credit.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm overhyping CD Lamb, and it's not to say that he's not a starter, but and I know he just signed a contract, but I think Cooper was weird last year. Like
He's always been weird.
But I feel like maybe Jason Garrett not being there helps him. Maybe the new coaching staff will I feel like Mike McCarthy loves passing, so I feel like that'll just help everybody.
Plus, you got
But-
Kellen Moore, who looked like he was a good OC.
Yep.
Exactly. But it's one of those where, again, I think it's me overhyping CD Lamb because it's not so like I think like Cooper's obviously a starter, but will his targets get? And I know Dallas was a team that lost a ton of their target percentage.
Yes,
So
sir.
like the targets are there for the taking. And I mean, Cooper will get his targets, but it's one of those where, this year for sure. But if Lamb becomes like surefire wide receiver 1, does Cooper does he ever take a back seat to that? And
He'll
does
be
his
off the
value
team.
ever?
He'll be off the
This-
team before
yeah.
that happens.
They
if
have
that's what
contract outs for him.
Yeah.
True. After how many? Because it was contract 5 years,
2.
right? So
After 2 years, I think is the maybe
thought
one,
it
but
was
I think
next year.
after 1 is still pretty tough to do.
Hmm.
right.
But after
I
it's pretty,
I like Nick's wide receivers.
So
I
do
think
I.
he could start Cooper. He could start,
Cooper Cup.
yeah.
Cooper Cup I like a lot, especially
Judy,
with
Cooper
Cook's
Kupp.
gone.
Lucho, by the way, next year the Cowboys would be eating a $28 million dead cap hit.
Oh yeah, fuck him. He's gone.
They'd lose $6 million because it's $22 million cap hit. But after that, then it's only a $6 million dead cap hit.
Yeah,
They'd
if
be
they're
saving.
Like,
okay, so
they'd
that's
be saving
that's 2
$1
years.
million, yeah.
I think for us in a league where we have to start 3 receivers, I think like once you get his starters in, like I think you have Cooper, you have Jesus Christ,
Cooper
Cooper
Kupp.
Cup.
Easily. Those two.
And
Cooper
then-
Kupp as a wide receiver too is fucking fantastic.
It's definitely good, but I feel like it drops off from there. Like who's
It does.
like
Jerry Judy's his 3, and then Tate's his 4.
I don't think he's his 3 in week 1.
You can't count.
Well,
him
Tate's
for
his 3 in week 1.
That's what I mean. I think
it's between Tate and
But
Fuller. For
the
that.
problem
Yeah,
is
Fuller,
though
it's probably-
the problem
probably
the
Fuller.
problem for Nick is you're gonna have your bye weeks, you're gonna have injuries. Like, I mean, I think my problem's always the depth. Past your 3 starting wide receivers, like sure you can assume that Jerry Jeudy pans
If Jerry
out, and
Jeudy
that's-
hits quickly, it'll be very
then-
good for his team.
then that's his starter. And again, especially when his bye weeks hit for quarterbacks, he's gonna need a super flex. So I mean, I know 3 running backs, but again, I don't know his bye week situation or how that's all
Yeah.
going to match up. I'm not going to get into it, but
He's
I mean,
one of these
are
teams
there-
that is
like,
going
are
to
there-
struggle.
right, like
In those weeks.
I think it's one of those, like, when the bye weeks hit, if injuries hit, is he in trouble when that happens? Because I'm not seeing if Judy's pans out and it becomes a 4th starting wide receiver, I'm not seeing a starter past that.
No,
Will
it's similar to Alex
Will-
Hochberg's team. It's similar to, we haven't talked about it yet, but similar to Skylar's team. where-
Yeah, like I feel like past that, who are we relying on his team? Kendrick Bourne. I don't like most of the San Francisco offensive players at this point.
Who knows what Kendrick Bourne will do?
And then Corey Coleman's been hurt like 2 years straight. Philip Dorsett, no. I mean, maybe he'll
He's
get a
on
catch
Seattle
here.
now.
Exactly. Will Fuller never stays healthy.
If Will Fuller can finally stay healthy, that's also huge for his team.
especially this
Will
year
Fuller's a
with
very
Hopkins
good
gone.
wide receiver.
Yeah.
He is, but again, he's never healthy, and then you just can't roll. I don't think
The problem is Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks do the same thing, and Kenny Stills. They all do the same thing. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Devin Funchess in Green Bay. Like, I know it's a different spot now, but what's the ceiling there? Just another dude behind Devontae Adams. I feel like they're all the same behind him at this point, especially when Rodgers still. Rodgers is just going to look.
Suck.
Right, exactly. Like Ted Ginn, we know what he is. He's not it. Rashard Higgins, he's what, wide receiver, maybe 3, probably 4.
Probably 3.
Who do they drafted? Peoples Jones.
Yeah,
There's
so
a
he could
very
push for
outside
3.
chance.
Exactly, but
for now,
but that's your ceiling for Higgins, and there's so many more guys there now. Like we've discussed, like Hooper, the 2 running backs.
They're probably gonna go
not.
to a lot of 12 personnel too. So I don't even know how much wide receiver 3 on Cleveland.
So like, it's just the overall depth. I hate. Like, I like his start. Like, I like his first 2 wide receivers, and then it drops off for me. It's just not a lot. It's not a lot there. I think he's going to struggle big time at wide receiver.
If Will Fuller can stay healthy.
Yeah,
Or
in a
Jerry Jeudy.
vacuum.
That's the
He
big.
has
In
all
a
these
vacuum,
ifs.
I'm fine with. I have 4 of those wideouts that I'm fine with for him.
Yeah, in a
I
vacuum.
agree with you. I agree. That's why he's ranked 7, because it could go either way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, he's right down the middle.
And I think Tate, especially, Tate and Fuller, I think they could push for
In a
starting.
Jason Garrett offense, yeah, taking that Cole Beasley role
Taking
or that Randall
Beasley,
Cobb role.
but objectively much better than Beasley.
Yeah.
That's why I like Tate as a wide receiver 3 for sure. But
I've always liked Golden Tate, besides the fact that he lost me hundreds of dollars on that stupid replacement refs. I'll always bring it up. That was the 4th team parlay, like 4th team parlay, and that was the last thing all of the other 3 hit early in the afternoon. This was the Sunday night game.
oh man, I love gambling.
Otherwise, I've always loved Golden Tate.
Oh man, but
He
his
was a guy
wide.
that I would have on my team a lot.
I don't love his receivers. We've said it so many times with teams. It's the what if. We don't have to keep saying it.
Yeah,
It's
It's
hard
just-
to fill out 3 wide receivers, man. And
It's
have
harder.
depth after.
It's harder than you think, and it's like I said earlier. There are a ton of fantasy relevant wide receivers that even come along every year that you've never heard of. Like, who the hell knows? Like, someo's gonna come along and go, "Who the fuck's this guy?"
Yeah,
Like,
probably
had-
Jerry's right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Paul Richardson.
but it's. But like, look, I mean, like the starters are there, but then again, if bye weeks injuries, it might be tough. But again, we'll see that every team's got their issues, But and then a real fucking issue is the tight ends for Nick. He might be in trouble.
I'm interested to see what his tight end ranking is on 12.
No, Nick says that his tight ends are good, bro.
Oh,
Because he got a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah.
They were-
okay. So
They were
his tight.
good before that, dude. I offered him Olsen, and he said, "Nah, I'm good with Eifert."
Wow.
Okay, so his tight ends.
But now
his
his
tight ends.
good.
Exactly. His tight ends are Cameron Brate, Tyler Eifert, OJ Howard, and Cole Kmet.
Infamously, one of those dudes, two of those dudes did not catch a pass last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. OJ Howard caught one.
Yeah. So right away, his Tampa Bay duo gets dropped for Gronk.
Well, actually, you know what? They said they're going to run 12 personnel too, so OJ Howard's still going to be on the field.
Oh,
but he'll be on the field, but
that makes too much sense.
He's a good blocker. They're not going to have Gronk block.
I could be in the field too. I'm not going to catch
anything. 50 pounds lighter.
I didn't like those guys when that's all that Tampa Bay had, honestly.
Wait, I need to hear what Tom's number would be.
What do you mean? Oh,
if you're on the field, even if you're not catching, what is your number?
Well, I'm a tight end.
Yeah.
Let's see. Probably 85. I'd pick 85, bro.
I'm a big eights guy. 88.
88, 89 were my
I'm an 85 kind of guy, dude. Ocho Cinco.
All right.
Wait, what's Nick ranking out of 12?
It can't be good because
I'm very interested in that, actually.
I'm so low on this entire group. It can't be good.
It's gonna be like 4.
It's gonna be like 11. I think it's like honestly 11th or 10th because I think Joey's the worst.
Hey, Joey just traded for Mike.
No, right, but when we did his team, he didn't make that trade and he was bad.
Sure.
But I think now Nick can't be that high at all on these tight ends, unless Fantasy Pros loves like OJ Howard or something.
He's 12th.
Yeah, this isn't good. He potentially might.
OJ Howard is his top ranked tight end according to Fantasy.
Yeah, because listen, Cole Kmet might be something, but week 1 in Chicago, like it's still
year 1, year 2.
Tight ends take a while.
Yeah,
right, but it's like I don't like. I mean, Jimmy Graham's in Chicago.
I like Greg Olsen would be perfect.
Like
honestly.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, like I don't.
I'm joking with my team, but I'm not joking in general.
Like I don't like Jimmy Graham, but right now he's the de facto starter in Chicago just based on like the experience.
They still have 5 million tight ends on their roster. No one knows anything.
Well, Trey Burton's gone, so that just frees up the no targets. That it's also Trubisky throwing to them. So it's for as long as that's happening, I don't think you can.
What should you say about Trubisky? All right.
They have. Let's see. Sorry. They have nine tight ends, not 5 million.
Yeah, they'll
still
cut
9.
Wow. They'll cut 6 of them.
Jimmy Graham, Cole Kmet, Demetrius Harris, who's shown flashes, Ben Brownecker, who's done stuff before. Brownecker.
Done stuff.
Adam Shaheen still there, shown flashes. J.P. Holtz. Jesper Horsted also had a game at one point. Former Falcon Eric Saubert, who's more of an H-back.
Yeah.
And then Darian Clark.
There's so many Chicago tight ends that are like a murderer's row of dudes that had potential that never panned out. Shaheen, Brownecker, Harris. Now is Cole Kmet going to be next?
I'm hitting the waiver wire, bro.
Yeah, dude. There's a reason his tight ends are 12th. It's fucking bad. So he's gonna have trouble. Like he had trouble at that position last year.
Olsen.
Like he had trouble. He had trouble filling that spot last year. Like that's why I said like I didn't like Howard or Brate as a fantasy guy when Tampa Bay didn't have Gronk. So I feel like obviously that only gets worse. So like who are you starting week 1 for Nick if you're his tight end?
Kmet. I would start Kmet. I would just do it.
That's so tough. That's so tough. And who is Jacksonville have? They have Josh Oliver as well.
Yeah.
As Tyler Eifert, but that's still crap though.
They have O'Shaughnessy too.
I'm probably
that's
starting.
right.
I'm probably starting Tyler Eifert.
Like I mean,
I
out
would
of that
start
group,
Oliver.
Yikes.
Oh, you mean out of?
Well, no, on his team.
No, I mean on Nick. I'm just saying like Jacksonville also has Oliver with Eifert on that team.
Yeah. I guess Tyler Eifert.
Exactly, but how you sound so miserable saying that though. So that's Nick.
I don't even
that's
think
Nick's
he's
predicament.
a tight end 2.
That's a wasted roster spot.
Yeah. He's not even a tight end 2.
It's one of those like you can't drop him, but you can't trade him. It's not worth anything.
Who's worse?
I could drop him.
Who's worse with tight ends, Chicago or Detroit?
Chicago. I think
Chicago.
I like Hawkinson.
Detroit's pretty bad, and people that leave Detroit end up being really good elsewhere.
I don't know.
Yeah,
dude.
but you don't
like,
even leave Chicago unless you leave on a stretcher, almost losing your leg.
Mhm. Unless
Right,
you're
point taken.
last tight end to leave Chicago would be good. Greg Olson,
Oh.
see, perfect guy for his team.
Wow.
I don't know, but like for your example, yeah, I mean, I like Hawkinson more than I like Komet at this point.
Well, for sure.
Like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I mean, that's not even based on it. I mean,
Any of the rookies in year two, now
Yeah,
listen,
but-
any of the sophomores.
Bro, Hawkinson got
Any
more
of the
points
year
last
two
year.
Rookies.
Hawkinson got more points last year in week 1 than Komet might get all year.
Mm-hmm.
this is true. What do we? Okay, what do we? Whatever. We can talk about Nick's shit tight ends all day. Where do we think he finishes?
Outside the playoffs. He's again, at best, he's going to do exactly what he did last year and make the playoffs and lose first round. But there's no way he's getting past that. And honestly, with how some of these teams are looking, I'd say he misses the playoffs.
Well, we've said Phil's team
It's
is
an
better,
injury.
so that we've said Phil's team is better. So on paper,
All four of us are better. Phil's team is better.
I think he could.
I think
could
Nick's
edge me
ceiling
out.
is 6, and I think his floor is like 8.
Like I
be
said,
honest.
ceiling is 6.
I think Nick's in the worst spot of he's not bad enough to get that top draft pick,
Similar
but
to
he's
Alex
right.
Hockford.
He's right in that spot that I hate when like the teams I like and just actual sports are in. Like I hate when the teams I like are in that like fringe playoff spot because your pick's never good enough to improve right away. But you're
team is
still
like
like
that.
right there.
I think Nick's
Redskins
team's better than
zone?
Hochberg's team, Alex.
I think so too. I
think so.
similar structure of where like
Oh, okay.
you have too many good guys on your team, but you're not good enough to win.
But to
Yeah.
that point, do you think with Hawk we're we saying like he should sell,
Blow his team up.
blow
But
his
I
team
don't.
up?
I think Nick has a few. Nick has like is Nick a blow it up candidate? Like
I don't.
That's what I was gonna say. Do we think Nick is a blow it up?
He needs to just make moves. He could
Yeah,
trade.
I don't think so.
He could trade.
I think Nick.
he's a retool.
I think Nick could trade. Like I think he could trade like an Eckler or even a Gurley. He could sell high on Gurley. Like if Gurley kills it in the first, like he could sell high on Gurley for a playoff team looking for like even if Gurley's 1 year and then he leaves the Falcons.
A team like Tom, he didn't draft Keyshawn Vaughn. Gurley
right, exactly. Yeah, a running back needy team could buy high. You know,
I still might need him.
Yeah.
Right, but like I think that's Nick's best case is he could take one of these guys, sell it for maybe not so much a pick, but like I think the problem is Nick like picks won't help Nick. I think Nick needs players, which I don't know if they're necessarily available for the guys he needs to sell to.
He could always trade his picks for players.
He could, but Nick also needs to make moves, which he didn't do all last season.
Yeah, well,
gotta get over that hump.
Got work to do.
He's gonna have to live with that.
Or also be in this position forever because
listen, I'm just like I don't want anybody to leave the league, but we were in a spot of like, does Nick even want to be in this league? Should we I think we asked him if do you want to give up your team, and he said no, he'll stay, which is fine.
Fair,
right. I'm not asking for people to leave the league at all.
I love having Nick in the league.
Exactly, but it's one of those things where that's where the conversation was heading because he wasn't making moves. But I think maybe he figured it out. Maybe he's like, fuck, I need to do something.
Well, honestly, you guys having that conversation with him was good because I talked to him after that, and he said that he started to really do more research on dynasty leagues in general, and he realizes that the off season is still like a season for us. You know, so
that's why we're doing a podcast.
That's why we're doing two. So I'm gonna say that we're already at 2 hours and we're not even close to done. So that's why we're doing 2 to 3 hour podcasts.
Luch, what are we at?
145.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
And this is a real 145 because we have been actually talking about shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Nothing to talk about.
But yeah, man, I think Nick's in that bad spot. Like I shouldn't say bad spot. There's great players to be had if you have like the 5th or 6th pick in the first round. But I just think, he needs to make moves. He has that surplus of running back, and he has no tight end and no, he could maybe use one more wide receiver, but I don't know. Maybe just sell. I don't know. He maybe he's a blow it up candidate. Who the fuck knows? I think if he doesn't, maybe if he's at the same spot next year, we could maybe you could ask again, but. he's in a tough spot of I don't think his team is good enough to get past like the first round like last year.
I agree.
And also his quarter, like I think Aaron Rodgers is a good trade candidate because he's older. Some team might say, hey, fuck it, I need there's injuries. I need.
This is something, Mike, we were just talking about this today, texting each other. He can't just trade Aaron Rodgers. He needs a quarterback back.
Yeah.
So
I know, but it's one of those. But it's one of those where if he's gonna miss the playoffs, I think
he has nobody. Then he has Jimmy G. You can't.
I
You
know,
cannot go.
but
He needs a QB back, and it's so hard to do it because someone that I was telling Mike this, but for Lucho and Tom, when someone needs a QB, they're not going to trade a QB away to get a QB unless like that QB they're trading away isn't worth it on their team. But like, it's so hard to trade QBs in general. Lucho, you've been lucky to be involved in some of these trades where you're trading for one QB without getting something back, or even I know Phil also was involved in these, but
actually
even
Phil was the one that got me my major QB.
Yeah, but even well, I mean, Phil, even the trade he made originally with Tom, it was Wentz and Trubisky going back and forth. It wasn't like, Tom, you could have traded away Wentz and not gotten anything back. Sure, it sucks Trubisky didn't pan out, but you were still getting a guy back that you needed.
Yeah.
You don't find too many teams that have a plethora of QBs that they can just trade away.
Right.
Without getting one back.
So. It's just, that's what I mean. Like, it's tough, but at some point though, like you're going to hit that point with Rodgers. I'm at that point with Breeze, but I'm at that point with Breeze where trading him makes no sense. And I need to just ride out his career, and I'm gonna get nothing for Breeze. It doesn't make sense for me to trade him.
Let him die on your team, man. It's what I'm gonna do with Edelman.
Right, and I think that but I think Nick's in a different spot. Like, I don't think Nick is good enough to win, but that's why like trading Rodgers while his value is still high might benefit. But that's the predicament you have. It's like, do you get like picks and hope guys suck and hope someone lands to you, or do you acquire picks to then flip them for like a higher quarterback? Like, there's so many options that are out there, and it's just.
I think I wouldn't blame him if he took it either way, to be honest.
Right.
I would keep the team and try to build it. I wouldn't blow it up, but
I think I would keep the team too.
It's not. I don't know. I don't even mean to say blow it up, and I know it's like in a super flex you need the two quarterbacks. And I think that's where I think if he just in our startup if he had one more guy on his team, he could do it. And
if he was,
I mean, it's easier said than obviously it's hindsight, but if he
was blowing his team up, then he'd be trading his running backs because Kamara, who knows, like a couple years on the road, he might not be as valuable,
Right.
Running backs. So, like,
running backs are tough, yeah.
He's the perfect team. He has the running backs you need. You need running backs to win. Clearly, we saw by your team, Mike, you were just in a better running back spot than I was.
Right.
So he has the right pieces on parts of his team, but it's just like it's not set up.
It's just like the having the no tight end, just like it's just like when you have like.
You just lose.
It was why
not disadvantage every week.
Like, not to keep going back to but like I took Kittle in round 2 because I'm like, fuck it, let me short, because like for me tight ends are I hate going back to the redraft strategy, but for me, like for tight ends and quarterbacks in a redraft, one quarterback, whatever. For me, if you're not getting a top quarterback or tight end, you should just either wait and draft later or stream guys every week or whatever.
Well, that was when I was going into the draft, the startup draft, that was my plan, was really like, all right, I didn't take Kelsey. Kelsey got picked in the beginning of the second round. I didn't get a chance at Ertz or Kittle because they both went at the end of the second. I would have taken one of those guys in the third. But once those guys passed, I was like, all right, well, then I don't need anyone. I was just at the point where Evan Ingram started falling. So I was like, all right, this is like my last tier 2 guy that I really like and has the potential to be a tier 1 guy. Let me get it. But otherwise, I wasn't thinking that. I was going to just
but I feel like you run, and again,
grab a bunch of lower tier guys.
Like, my point is getting off completely what we're talking about, but my whole thing is you see it every time in a redraft. You see guys reach all the time. They take like a guy and like, oh, well, I need to take quarterback, so I'll take QB 12 in round 5, when if I just waited fucking 9 rounds, I could get the same production. And I feel like it's just like one of those things where you just but then in this, when you don't have that option to just stream guys, you're at such a disadvantage because there's nobody. And I think a lot of us, a lot of people, myself included, had value issues. I undervalued QBs going into this draft. That's why I'm kind of strapped for QBs a little bit in terms of going forward. But I think Nick did the
I
same
know
thing.
on Luch, you did the same thing too, kind of. I think.
I did too. I just hit on Lamar Jackson by accident.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I saw Joey
A lot of
taking
people
like
did. I mean, I
like
took
I saw
Mahomes at 2.
right, but I mean, I was gonna, I argued it when, before you said Superflex was a thing. I was, I was like, oh, Barkley won, no fucking question. And then you put that thought about Superflex, but it didn't click. And I think for Nick, it didn't click. That's why he only had 2 quarterbacks rostered.
It'd be interesting to see our entire league do a new startup of Superflex and see how many quarterbacks get taken in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Right. I think it would be insane. I think guys that would have no business, even in a Superflex dynasty startup going in the second round, I think the guys that had no business going there would. So it'd be interesting. But I think Nick fell. My whole point is I think Nick fell into that where, oh, maybe I can just stream a guy, but now he's in a situation where he doesn't have a legit starting tight end and he has no way to get one without making a move that he doesn't do.
Yeah, I agree.
Like to take fucking 10 minutes to circle back to my entire
enough
point.
of Nick's team. We get the picture.
We get it. He's a
Fringe
fringe.
team.
He's a fringe. So now on to our guest and his roster.
Phil is my rival.
Yeah, Phil.
Thom PayPal Dongle Moose. Oh wait.
Listen,
I do still like your picture on the MFL site, by the way, of Phil of the future.
Phil of the future.
That's really good. Yeah.
They fucking dress the same.
Oh, no.
Really funny. All right, so we'll start with your quarterbacks. We discussed the big trade you made last week. I don't think we don't need to like rehash it a ton, but your quarterback room is Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco.
No big deal.
Russell Wilson backup Anthony Gordon.
Is Joe Flacco
Lamar Jackson, Matt Ryan, and Mitchell Trubisky. So, oh no.
He definitely got that jean jacket at Goodwill.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my goodness.
So all right. So oh my God. All right, so your quarterbacks. Look.
After this trade, man, fantastic.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about Lamar Jackson is fantasy until something changes or if he gets hurt or something. Far and away QB1, fantasy player number 1, without a doubt.
I don't say that. He's just top 2 QB though. I can't say that he's better than Mahomes far and away. Not at all. I'd still take Mahomes ahead of him in a startup.
Okay.
So would I, honestly.
I think do you think the longevity is there for Mahomes more than Jackson just based on their
Lamar
play?
Jackson's going to spin his way out of a jam and get clocked by a linebacker one day.
I don't even see it that way. I just think that Mahomes is more stable, not even injury-wise, just in production-wise, will be more stable year to year than Lamar Jackson will be.
Well, I agree with that. I don't think Lamar Jackson can get better than last year.
Mahomes can't get better than he was 2 years ago.
Right. I think you're nuts if you think, oh, Lamar Jackson's going to get whatever fuck amount of points he had last year. It was a ridiculous number. What was it? He was
averaging
4 or something.
He was averaging 28.645 points.
He finished with 429.68.
Yeah, and it's honestly insane.
28.6 per game.
Yeah, and if you said that a quarterback, I know passing yards are an underrated stat, but if you said, this quarterback only had 3,100 passing yards, you'd be like, phew. If you just heard that, because guys throw for 5,000, but it's it's insane. Does Lamar Jackson rush for 1,000 again this year? He had 1,213 last year. Does he
I put him right around 1,000.
Yeah.
Does he get close to that?
I don't think he'll get 1,200 this year. They already talked a little bit how they want him to throw a bit more. But I'd still put him around 1,000. Yeah.
And
if he misses 1,000, it's gonna be fucking 990. It's not gonna be
I know. And the big thing with him last year was only 6 picks, which is honestly for him. I think that was the big question. Was how accurate is he? And he didn't make mistakes.
Anybody who watched him,
he's just so good.
I will say, he is my large black son. I love Lamar Jackson. I was so happy when he proved everybody wrong. All those fucking talking heads.
Yes, sir.
But I did see data of like year-over-year touchdown regressions. He was like 9 touchdowns over expectation last year, 9 passing touchdowns over expectation. So I do agree that it's very likely that that is not his baseline, and that he regresses more to a more manageable passing number. But I think the rushing obviously buoys that, so it does take that off. I would say him and Mahomes for the long term, that's just different, whatever flavor you like better. Do you like passing or running?
If I'm doing a startup, if I take Mahomes 1, I'm taking Lamar Jackson 2. If I take
exactly.
Lamar Jackson 1, I'm taking Mahomes 2. There's no one else is close
That's
to them. Not
splitting hairs, yeah.
But
yeah, it's them and everyone else.
I'd still rather have Mahomes, because Mahomes can rush too. You know, he's not rushing like Lamar Jackson, but he can still rush enough that it helps. And I went back to 2018. So Lamar Jackson was 28.6 per game. Mahomes was 27.2. So
that was also Jackson only playing a handful of games, though.
No. I'm talking about Jackson in 2019 versus Mahomes in 2018.
No, okay, never mind. I thought you meant like Jackson. I was like, Jackson only played a couple of games.
No.
Okay.
I meant
I got you.
The 2 MVP seasons.
I got you. Okay. But I mean, I just think, like I agree with Tom. Like I think like Jackson is almost like a time bomb. Like I think he's one bad hit away.
It doesn't get hit.
That's a myth.
Yeah.
Right.
There is so much data that shows that that's a myth.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You just never know. I think
Le'Veon Bell never got hit.
Yeah. True. I just think what works against him, and maybe he's too athletic, but I just feel like every time someone comes along, like even if it takes a year or two, and these NFL defenses figure out how to stop a specific offense, and I know and he's
something that I have in my head too. Yeah. There's a potential that they will.
It's the potential. I'm not saying it.
I mean, Tennessee did in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but
still a different game.
Is it a blueprint? Was it one game? But I feel like it's always there. Like when the fucking Wildcat took off. That's why like I said, it was Jalen Hurts, Pat White 2.0. The Dolphins took Pat White because like, oh fuck, the Wildcat, we're killing it. And then teams figured out the Wildcat, and that shit died real fast. I think Lamar Jackson's too athletic, and he is too talented to have it happen. But I think the potential is always there for defenses to figure out something. But maybe he shifts and does something else.
By the way,
I know he's good.
I say it was the blueprint. His fantasy game would have still been fucking amazing.
It was, yeah, right. It was
365 passing yards, 143 rushing yards, but he only had 1 touchdown. That was really
right. But it's just
bum.
I think there was
touchdowns. There was a passing touchdown.
Right.
There was two interceptions.
There was a ton of reasons they lost that game, but it's beside the point. I think the fact that you have a top 2 QB is awesome, and the fact that you traded for Matt Ryan, who is, his peak. If it depends on the season, but he could sniff top 5, top 8. Like you're in a good fucking spot when you have 2 super fantasy relevant quarterbacks on your roster now. And when you had I said last week when we were talking to Phil about his team, when you had the depth to give up, and then you're able to improve a position while still being awesome at the position you traded. This is one of the best trades in this league, to be honest, because it's both of you guys improved tremendously by making it.
It was one of those ones that's just annoying for everybody else.
Right. Yeah. When you have 10 people hate you,
which is how that's the way you win a trade, man.
Well, yeah, that's how you know it's a good trade.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, again, like I said, your receivers were deep, but you shored up the super flex. I mean, Jackson and Ryan. What's his QB ranking? It's got to be.
I have Trubisky, so it's probably like 10.
Well, it won't take into account Trubisky now because he's not in your starting.
Yeah, because now Trubisky's your QB. 3.
You're number 1 at QB.
Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. Huh. Listen, it's a great spot to be in. So, like I said, if only injuries are derailing you at this point at quarterback. Running back it could be questionable, but it's like up or down. It's another one. So let's just go in order here. Where are we? All right. So Dalvin Cook, I mean, if healthy, that's a running back 1. Let's see. Darrington Evans, Leonard Fournette, Devonta Freeman, Wayne Gallman, Carlos Hyde, Joshua Kelly, Jalen Richard, Keyshawn Vaughn, and Jeffrey Wilson.
He's not lying when he says we needed a running back. So.
Yeah, like you're solid. You're solid at running back 1 as long as Cook stays healthy, which we've seen the concerns that he could get hurt. But I mean, last year was obviously way better. He got hurt late in the year, which still kind of screwed you for the playoffs a little bit. But
my running backs are the reason why I lost in the playoffs. They both got hurt in the same week.
Right. I mean, look, Cook and Fournette are obviously 1 and 2, but then after that, it's very tough. You need Keyshawn Vaughn to hit, and I don't know if that's happening in year 1.
Yeah.
But and especially you're a team that wants to compete this year. I mean, you'll have your 2 starters, but I mean, and how much do we like Leonard Fournette? I mean, we joke about him being bins, but
I mean, he was a top 10 fantasy running back last year.
No, this is
but he had
true,
like 100. He had like 100 targets last year. So
yeah,
now
they're going to do the same thing now. I mean,
well, Chris Thompson is there now with Jay Gruden loves him.
Yeah, an actual capable pass catching back.
Yeah,
Not to say Fournette, like statistically and analytically, is one of the best pass catching backs in the league, if not the best. Because he was just that efficient with them over a lot of other players, but Gruden loves Thompson.
It's gonna be. I think his targets will be closer to what it was in 2018 when T.J. Yeldon was there.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that if he rushes for 1,400 yards again.
Because he had. Right. Let's see. Can I see the targets on here? No, because this is a Bins website. Oh no, yes I can. Okay, maybe not 2018, 2017. 2017, he had 48 targets. 18, he had 26, but he only played half a year. So yeah. Maybe around 50, 55 targets. I think it would be closer to that than 100. I mean, it's still relevant. It's still very relevant. So.
Right. It's a great PPR guy to have. It's just one of those, like, Jacksonville's not in love with him. So where does he go after this year is the big question, because he's clearly not going to be in Jacksonville after this season.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those, like, is he another one of these running backs that, and he's fucking talented, man. Like,
maybe Seattle.
Right. He might end up somewhere, but will he be as fantasy relevant once he leaves Jacksonville? Like, I know a guy in a contract year, it might be great for your 2020.
This is another guy that's like how I was talking with Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, where those 2 years we saw from those guys with their ceiling, I think last year he's not going to reach that point ever again.
Right.
It's going to be close, but I don't think he'll reach that point.
Right. It's actually fun.
Don't get me wrong, I still like Fournette a lot for fantasy. So
for this year, yes. That's why I think you have a 1-2. I think your best case scenario is, I mean, besides Keyshawn Vaughn like hitting and just becoming the starter in year 1, is Devonta Freeman signing somewhere and just being relevant. I think that's like your only other hope. You know, there's always, like, Evans could step up if Derrick Henry ever went down, but I think that's a long shot, especially with, like.
Well, now I'm praying for guys to get hurt. I'm praying for Chris Carson to get hurt so Carlos Hyde could play. You know.
In case you're wondering, Fournette is running back 15 in ADP for 2020 redraft, and he's 26 overall.
I'm okay with that.
That makes sense. At that point, right? It's tough because, like, I think. There's two really good running backs, but again, the injury potential could be there as well.
Yeah.
But what are his running backs ranked?
Not good, probably.
I mean, I think the depth pulls you down because you have 2 starters, but you're struggling after that.
4th.
Really? I guess the top 2 pulls you up. Listen, we only have to start 2 backs, and there's your 2 starters. You'll struggle on bye weeks, but.
So you're behind. Who were we saying? We were behind Skylar, Nick, and Mike, and then
yeah. I would I know the top guys pull the ranking up, but I would only argue lower because just the depth is it's not there at all.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm a number 4 running back for
overall. Yeah.
I don't.
Like I said, like again, a million fucking times the what ifs are all over the place, but. You can do way worse than Cook and Fournette, and who know, and you look at someone like Kevin Stefanski, he's going to be run heavy.
Oh yeah.
So you can definitely, if Cook's healthy, he's getting his RB1 touches. So
by the way, when you said Cook and Fournette, I thought you said cooking Fournette. I was like, is he like a chef now? Like Like you're watching HGTV with Cooking for Net.
He's out here whipping. He's out here whipping.
The host up there.
I would
love to see Fournette wearing an apron on HGTV.
Listen, you don't never say never.
Who's at the door in my kitchen? Knock, knock, knock.
It's Ben's Fournette.
Yeah, it's Ben's Fournette.
We're just gonna throw this meal in the bins. God.
But listen, yeah, you could do worse with your starters, but like I said, bye weeks, and if you have injuries, it doesn't look good. So maybe there's a trade to be made at some point. I don't know with who or for what, but there's you're in a spot again.
You
You're in a
missed out
spot.
on big time Latavius Murray.
This is true. But you're also in good shape. Like you have the extra first that you could always try and trade away for somebody if the time comes.
Yeah.
So like you're in a good spot with that.
And running back's an easier type of guy to get at the deadline because there's all those teams that are gonna be missing the playoffs that are like, I don't even know if this running back's gonna be worth anything next year.
Right, exactly. Guys are gonna, they'll be sell high guys, but again, if you have the first, if it's a late first, that's why having the extra pick is nice.
Yep.
So we'll see. You've improved your receivers like insane. Your receivers were good even before. That's what like the receivers were good. You drafted well, and then that's why you were able to trade Allen Robinson for Matt Ryan.
Yep.
But so let's go through your receivers. So Devontae Adams, Tyler Boyd.
Well, you went. Sorry to interrupt. You went back to back in the startup with 1-2 receiver, right?
Yeah, I went Devontae Adams, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Okay.
You took Devontae Adams first? I don't know why I thought it was Juju.
Yeah, I took
Did you
Juju.
have 2 first-round picks in the startup?
Yes.
Gosh.
I took Juju with the 12th pick.
You traded with me.
Devontae, I would have the 8th pick. I think I had the 8th pick. I picked Devontae Adams.
That makes sense. All right, yeah. So you have Devontae Adams, Tyler Boyd, Quintez Cephas, Randall Cobb, Brian Edwards, Chris Godwin, Jakeem Grant, T. Higgins, Marvin Jones, who that was you got him back in that Allen Robinson for Matt Ryan deal. So you pretty like we'll discuss. Mohamed Sanu, Marquez, recent pickup as of yesterday, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That rounds out your receivers. So this is really good. The fact that you could trade a guy like Allen Robinson and still have this group is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Devontae Adams, wide receiver 1. I guess Chris Godwin, you can argue either way. I mean, I know Adams was hurt; he didn't play a full season, but I mean, still in 2019, he still managed 997 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he played most of the games. But I mean, he feel like he wasn't healthy.
I think he missed 3 games.
Yeah,
and he wasn't 100% in some of those other.
No, absolutely not. I think the end of the season he kind of heated up a little bit. Like those playoff weeks, he was better and he came back healthy. But yeah, he, I know like week 17 he sat out, but that was irrelevant. Yeah, he had I think week 5 through 8 he was out. So he missed 4 games.
Perfect timing for me.
Like the middle chunk of the season.
Right during bye weeks.
Yeah, you lost your wide receiver 1. He came back, but then from week 10 on, I mean week 10, 20 point, 80 points, week 11 bye, week 12, 18.30, week 13, 24.40, dropped off against the Redskins in that playoff week 1, which killed you along with your injured running backs. You only had 8 points against the Redskins in week 14.
Yeah.
But then he killed it the 2 final week, 25.3 in week 15, 24.6 in week 16.
No, I'm really happy that he showed up for me in the championship.
Oh wait.
Oh, oops. I wasn't there because of you.
But listen and listen and it's like you said earlier, it's Devontae Adams and then a bunch of shit behind him.
Yeah.
So if there's one guy, I mean, and just looking at this Green Bay offense, like it's gonna be like he's got to be getting double-digit targets without a doubt. There's nobody else on this team that even warrants taking targets from him. And as long as Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, Adams is gonna get his work. So far and away, wide receiver 1, and then. I mean, your wide receiver 2 at Chris Godwin. Him and Mike Evans are right there. Godwin went off last year. Like he was good, but I mean,
Tom,
what do you think Tom Brady makes him take a hit?
No, I think he actually helps Godwin because Tom Brady loves throwing in the slot. That's what Godwin does.
And you think if they're playing in if you're playing in 12 personnel, he's going to be running from the slot more.
When you said you weren't in the championship because of you, were you talking about Mike?
No, I was talking about Devontae Adams only getting 8 points against Washington.
Okay. Well, I think we were talking about this before on maybe when we were golfing on who did you lose? So you lost to Luch in the first round.
Oh, I know. I went back and looked because that was the week. That week, Cook, Fournette, Cook, and Le'Veon Bell all went out after the first half, and I almost broke my television.
That was week 15? No, 14. 14. Oh, that's when Lamar Jackson only had 20, which was like an insane low point for him.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But listen, your roster still is pretty fucking strong, all things considered.
Trubisky had 32 that week. Sorry.
Just rub it in, jeez.
That's hilarious.
But and then look, I mean,
Fournette only had 9.
Yeah, you gotta take it out.
Who are you looking at for your wide receiver 3? I mean, are you going to start Tyler Boyd or Marvin Jones like week 1 if you have to decide?
Oh man!
I mean, obviously Adams and Godwin 1, 2, but then you're 3, and this is a good problem to have. You right off the bat 4 starting, for as long as Jones is relevant, 4 starting, wide receivers. I know Jones just turned 30, but he's still really good, especially as long as Stafford is there.
If I'm being honest, I'm probably going to start Boyd week 1, and only for the fact that Marvin Jones is playing the Bears defense.
That makes sense.
But I mean, it is what I wouldn't mind starting either. Or in my opinion, I'm starting 4 wide receivers week 1. So
right. Well, right again. I mean, I guess we didn't even address the fact that you can't really start a flex at running back, but you clearly have the receiver depth that your flex that you're going to start 4 receivers every week.
Yeah.
That's without a doubt.
Until my running back someone hits or I get somebody.
Right, and then but even you go lower on your depth chart, like if someone like T Higgins hits or if Quintez Cephas even hits, to have that as a wide receiver 5 or 6 is pretty damn good. And then a lot of people are high on Bryan Edwards on the Raiders.
Yeah,
again, you're now at this point you're at wide receiver 7, Your receivers are in great shape for sure. Like you got to be high.
In a perfect world, Mohamed Sanu's my 8th receiver,
which is you can't really do much. You can't really do much worse than that. I mean, your receivers are up there, and again, and I say this that's with you trading Allen Robinson. You still have this group, you had Allen Robinson on top of this. These are like I said, we mentioned these are the trades that piss people off.
I had Juju as well.
Shit, yeah. That's insane.
What's Alex? What's my wide receiver rank?
You're number 2.
Ooh, number 2
behind me.
Well, of course, Michael
Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen. You can't.
No shit. Yeah, I knew I was going to be number 2.
That's and you're in a good spot to start 4 receivers, and then when you get to and you have 5 receivers, when you get to bye weeks for quarterbacks and stuff, you could probably get away with not starting Mitch Trubisky, which he might lose the job anyway.
Unless he's a starter, and then you never know.
Luch, by the way, you're number 3 at wide receiver. So
I figured I was top 4.
Congrats to us 3 on being top 3. Bruce,
nice.
Not so much. You're not.
See ya, bro.
Oh shit. Whatever. All right. So let's go over your tight ends. Yeah, these receivers, fucking A, man. I'm jealous.
Thanks, man. Ruffling my feathers here.
It wouldn't be it wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't butcher names. So I know we said it 80 times, but I'm still gonna fuck it up. So Devin Asiasi.
Oh, don't worry, you didn't mess that one up. I think you did call Tyreek Cohen earlier. Though.
I'm gonna make sure I keep Denver Broncos tight end number 2 on my team, at least until the episode where we go over my team, so you can try that.
Well, Mike also messed up. You also messed up Mohamed Sanu's name. You called him Mahmoud Sanu.
Oops.
So,
All right, so yeah,
just the most common name in the world.
Oh God.
Either way, I think he's irrelevant. So you have Jack Doyle, Noah Fant, Jacob Hollister, and David Njoku.
Jacob Abercrombie.
Oh shit. I think he's. I mean, I think Seattle has like a bunch of no-name tight ends that somehow always hit. I think it was Will Dissly, and then he got hurt, and then it became Jacob Hollister.
And before that, it was Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson.
Oh yes. Wilson. But I feel like now Greg Olson's there, so a lot of these guys just kind of become irrelevant. Yeah. Like if there was any value, it's shot
this year.
Unless something happens for this year. Olson,
which is always possible. But
then
look,
it falls
but
to
you're
Dissly.
in. Right.
Like Olsen quits football in the middle of the season. That's a possibility.
It's possible. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Bounces the rest of the
season. Who was the cornerback that did that?
Vernon
Davis.
Yes. No. Vernon Davis is the tight end. You mean
Vontae Davis.
Vontae Davis.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I didn't mean to disparage sweet potato yams.
He did retire now too. So,
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think. I mean, I think. Njoku, I know you traded for him, but I think with Hooper in Cleveland, it just lessens his value for sure.
Backfire.
I think. I mean, I know Noah Fant year 2, you feel more confident, but there's so many targets to go around in Denver. I mean, how many does he truly get? I think Jack Doyle is your best bet for your tight end 1, but it's especially. I mean, Eric Ebron left, right?
Yeah.
They replaced him with Trey Burton, who's like.
I know, but I think Jack Doyle's better than Burton. Burton's
been I agree. Yeah.
And I think Phillip Rivers boosts Jack Doyle, so that's why I think he's your tight end 1.
Rivers loves tight ends.
They also have our boy Xavier Grimble on the team.
Grimble.
And don't the hype train started up again this week with Mo Alley
Cox. Yeah.
They're saying they're going to start using him more in the.
Why does their entire tight end room sounds like just a gumshoe detective agency? Detective Jack Doyle, Officer Grimble. I love it.
But so this isn't the best tight end room. It's a lot of there's a lot of potential, but I think outside of Jack Doyle, there's not much going on for me. And
I think Noah Fant.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping Noah Fant turns into a good tight end, so I could start.
It's just it sucks that they drafted so many other guys on offense.
Yeah.
Just like not even
circumstance.
Yeah, not even to hurt Noah Fant breaking out. Just the opportunity. It has to go down.
I know. It's
Maybe
just
he could be more efficient with it the year too. But
yeah, there's so many guys in Denver. I think there's more targets to be had for
even
Doyle at least now.
The upside I have with Fant is when Drew Lock came in, started him and Fant connected right away.
Yeah, they did.
Right, of course.
Fant and Sutton both went off.
Yeah,
of course. But
Drew Lock's boy, Denver Broncos tight end number 2, is on the team, who used to play for Mizzou. So they were great. And then
we'll see what happens
during tight end number 2 senior season. He was terrible without Lock. So
week 1, I'm probably starting Jack Doyle.
That's how I feel for now. I need to see it. I need to see it from Noah Fant. Yeah. I just think it's just week 1's always tough. You never know. Yeah. Like you could have your best intentions.
Anthony swindled me in the startup draft because he asked me who I was. He was 1 pick in front of me, and he asked me who I was going to pick, and I said Hawkinson, and he picked Hawkinson. I picked Noah Fant.
But then you swindled him for every good player on his team. In trades.
It was karma.
Karma's a B word. Karma's a B word.
Who'd you get? Did you get Chris Godwin and Fournette?
I got Godwin after week 1, and then he exploded. And then I got Fournette, and then he had 190 rushing yards the next week.
I don't hate this tight end room. I'll say it.
Right. No, I think
man.
I think the potential's there, but I think the immediate production is questionable.
I also,
but anytime,
according to fantasy,
but anytime you can have 2 potential starting tight ends, you're in good shape in Dynasty. And again, I think Hollister's value might be shot, but you probably got him for nothing. So who cares? You might as well hold him until he's useless. And I think
I spent $0 on Hollister last year.
Exactly, and I just
me too. I don't wear it anymore.
Nice.
Nah, that was a knee slapper.
And like I said, since we watched Njoku, what we thought he broke his neck on that Monday Night Football game.
Against
that
my
one
team.
week, when we were watching it in Seattle at that bar.
I don't want to recap.
I don't even remember. Honestly, I don't remember that part of the game because I was just so enamored.
That was in the beginning of the game, and then
watching the peanut gallery at the table next to us.
Because Lucho, all right, real quick, dude. I gotta get this off my chest. Okay, we're in Seattle. The Jets have to put in Luke Falk.
Monday night.
Who happened to play at Washington fucking State. And everyone in the fucking bar is losing their shit. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm like crying because I'm the only Jets fan on the West Coast.
Wearing a Jets jersey.
Yeah.
What jersey did you have, by the way?
No, it was a shirt. It was because that was the only thing I could get at the time with their brand new logo.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and then that game just fell down. Luke Falk didn't even complete a pass for like.
He didn't complete a pass until midway through the third quarter. Oh,
and then when he completed that pass, everyone in the bar was just like,
yeah. It was like a 3-yard pass. Oh, congrats, Luke Falk. You're 1 for 16. I hate it. But we digress.
Seattle did you dirty, Tom.
Yeah.
But I haven't. I mean, I liked his value, of course, but Austin Hooper kills it for me because Hooper's just so much better than him.
Yeah.
Like,
as
again,
you fucking
no, right? Like the Cleveland can play 2 tight end sets, of course, but I think again this goes back to Nick's team with Howard and Brate. I didn't like those two as a starting tight end before Gronk was there. Now you add Gronk, and they're irrelevant to me. I think I didn't like Njoku that much, and now you add Hooper to this, and I think it's even less for me. But you're not cutting them. Obviously, you're holding them and hoping that Hooper gets hurt or they Mayfield just likes David Njoku better or something. But for me, it's just like but outside of Doyle and Fant, I don't it's good to have those 2 guys, but the rest of them is just such a question mark. But like we've said, you could do way worse. But I think your team is a contender. Like, I think this is the first team we've discussed that
no Phil.
Your obvious ceiling.
His rival.
Like your obvious ceiling is championship. I think this is the first team we've discussed thus far.
Phil's can
win. I think Tom's team is better than Phil's at the moment.
Not according to Fantasy Pros.
I don't know. I don't know. I just think
they're 3-4 actually. So.
It's tough. I think Tom's more of a contender than Phil today. Again, the season has to play itself out. This could all be meaningless, but again, I think your running backs could hurt you again if there's if there's anybody can get fucked with an injury, but there's no depth if there is an injury, and that's where I'm at. I unlike the other teams where there's so many holes, I think maybe adding 1 running back can't hurt for you. And like I said, you have the draft capital to do it and get somebody. Maybe not a running back 1, but just somebody that plug and play if shit goes down.
Do you guys hear my cat, by the way, crying at the door?
I just did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm also hoping Freeman signs somewhere where he's usable.
Well, Phil's cat. Sorry.
Why is Lebowski so sad?
Because I'm not letting him in my room.
That's all Ted. I'm surprised Ted hasn't made his way in here and just fucking cried in front of me for no reason, like last week.
Right.
Well, yeah, dude. I mean, like Tom, I said, I think. Yeah.
Let me ask you one thing. How do you personally feel like you're going to do at this point with this roster?
I think I could win the championship.
All right.
I think I was afraid of your team last year. Like
so was I. Everyone was afraid.
I was thrilled you got knocked out in the first round.
So was I.
Which is a good I mean, if you lose and everyone else is happy, you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
No, I really do think I could win, especially because as the season progresses, if I need something, I can trade my first round pick. I can get that player. I can do this. I don't know. I feel like the ball's kind of in my court and how I want to want to do it. But my team, I think it's pretty good now, and I think I could just make it better if I really have a chance to win.
Yep. You just need like you need to be on the good side of variance, and yeah, like you said, you just need to make a move if you need to make a move. You're pretty set. What the fuck do you want, Lebowski?
I mean, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah,
I thought I really had a good shot of winning last year, and I get lost immediately.
There it is.
Oh. Had to get the star of the show in here.
Oh shit,
that's a big time fact.
From last week.
Facts.
Oh wait, let me see.
Everybody's just gonna get out. I'm not.
Oh,
there it goes.
Just fell off my shoulder.
Yeah, cats do that.
I thought my cat was still sitting in the office, but she left.
So where do y'all think I finish this year? If you had to make a prediction.
I mean, regular season probably maybe you get a bye in the regular season. I mean, we don't have our actual schedule, so I think it just depends on that.
I think you make it into the semifinals this year.
I could see you finishing.
When you make the playoffs, anything can happen.
Yeah,
like it's so hard.
Realistically,
I mean,
I think you're making the playoffs.
That's what I said. Yeah, I was a 6 seed last year, so just make the playoffs and anything can happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. To predict a round, like I don't have one, just because again, I thought you would have won last year, and it was like the first round upset. But you're for sure, like it's for sure a playoff team, like we've all said, and I think the ceiling's a title, and I'm not going to predict like a round just because again, it's just so tough to do. Who's to say a first round or tie, like literally either way, but for sure, like. You're definite playoff team. I think from here on out, I think we're talking about the on paper definite playoff teams.
Well, glad to start the trend.
Okay, sorry, almost everybody. Sorry, Skylar. You can defend yourself next week. I don't think Skylar is a playoff team this year.
Whoa! Don't give up too much for next week. I still have to listen.
I'm not giving up. Relax. Skylar's agreed already, so he'll be on to defend his moves. I'm very excited for. Listen. I'm not.
Skylar's making the playoffs, right?
He probably will. He always does. He'll luck out. Brian Hoyer will be the quarterback. He'll get his second quarterback, and then everything else will fall into place. We'll discuss next
start
week.
week 1 and just win MVP.
That's true. But next week. Listen, I mean, if you've watched, this is our 5th episode. If you've watched all 5, you've heard us bitch about Skylar. Not bitch about him, but you've heard us shit on his moves. You've heard us bash his team a little bit. So we'll go over his roster. Skylar will be on the show next week. We're getting into the host teams. We're going to discuss Lucho's team. And then it's a week away. So any other trade stuff that happens, any news, we'll break it down for everybody.
Hate mail.
We better fucking get some. We got to get some from our number 1 least favorite fan. I wonder. I also need to know what he rates these shows every week, if he in fact listens.
He probably didn't listen. That's it. He hates the show so much that he won't listen.
Whatever, man. He's missing out on valuable info that he himself needs.
Oh, I'm sure he listened to that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Why do you think he offered Thielen?
Roster. This is true. Well, because he heard all of us say, "Hey, destroy your roster and just
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw Adam Thielen. I was like, he'd listen to that podcast.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here doing this. We're doing all this dirty work for you guys.
Yeah.
That's why we're giving out all this free advice. We should charge for this podcast for our league people.
Yeah, give us free draft picks.
Let's start. Yeah,
fucking matinee
blind bid dollars.
This shit is longer than Infinity War.
What are we at right now?
230.
Whew. Man, there's
new record.
It is what it is. Every week it gets longer. I don't know what's going to happen when we actually break down matchups. We're here for 5 hours.
No, this is
bro.
This is the deep dive, man.
This is the off-season content.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Mike, when we get to our teams, we'll keep it shorter, so it's just not continuing the giant circle jerk.
No. The next 2 podcasts have to be 5 hours each.
Oh yeah.
For that reason.
Mike, can we just record a podcast? We'll just split your team off separate, and we'll just have an hour long of just the trophy sitting in front of the camera. And that's it.
I'm good with that. Wow, why is this podcast 4 hours? Oh, fuck.
Well, yeah, I'll set up another camera, have the trophy as the guest for that one.
Oh, please, yes, please do that. No, you guys will be on the same network. It won't. Oh wait, no, it worked on
No,
Zoom.
yeah.
If we were on Discord, then it would sound like shit if you set up a second camera.
Discord is bins, dude, just like Fortnite.
It's been, yeah.
But all right, I think. Listen, that's it for episode 5. We thank you for getting this far. If you did, we hope you did. Thanks to Tom for being our guest. I know he was looking forward to it. Listen, anytime, man. Listen, at some point, I'm gonna need that.
Except not next week.
Hey, look, whenever y'all want a guest appearance, man, just give me a shout, bro. My phone's right here.
I've already said at some point I'm gonna need that paternity leave. So you're in for when I need to sit out.
Ooh.
Yeah, Mike's having a baby.
Me. Yes.
Yeah, Mike's having Bruce Capone's baby.
No, but I appreciate you guys having me on. It was fun, man. I love this.
Yeah, dude. Listen, yeah, man. Anytime you.
Anytime besides next week, like I said.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, I know Anthony wanted to be on the show, and he almost said, "Well, I'll just come on," and we said no. But don't worry, we're gonna have Anthony on this podcast soon for a special bonus episode when we're done with these roster
yes, sir.
roster breakdowns. And trust us, you're not gonna want to miss that.
You guys should have Anthony and Kyle in the same week just to defend themselves.
We could that's like, don't say the same week. That's 2 episodes, pal.
Like fucking People's Court.
Yeah, we'll have Anthony on one week. We'll have to get Kyle on. I hope we can actually.
Mike, why didn't you give a word about our sponsors? You didn't mention anything.
Here, I just gave you guys one. G Fuel, thank you for sending these to me. Honestly, I'll talk to them about sponsoring the podcast.
Anybody that wants to send us money. Now I'm forgetting who did we say our sponsor was. This is where I'm terrible.
I don't even remember.
We said someone should sponsor, and I can't remember who.
Tom, did you listen to the podcast?
What's that?
Did you listen to the podcast last week?
Of course I did.
Yeah, who was our sponsor that we were saying would have been good?
Manscaped.
Oh, that's fucked.
Oh, right.
Because we said it, whatever any podcast sponsors.
All the classic podcasts.
Yeah.
Fucking ZipRecruiter.
betonline.eu.
Yep, betonline.eu.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. But yeah. No,
Omaha Steaks.
Oh, fuck. That's another one. Oh, my God.
It's $150 value.
FanDuel.
Can Alex Hochberg get DraftKings to sponsor us? They also sponsor everything.
Mike, you do enough betting, you could probably get someone to sponsor us.
You work on that for DraftKings. I'm gonna work on some G Fuel, but before you know it, fucking 10,000 people are gonna watch this shit.
I can't
Just
wait.
God, please, no. I don't want to unleash this on people.
Entire 3 hours of the podcast waiting for this 30-second clip of something that's sponsored.
Whatever,
we just forget to do the read, and we have to edit it later.
Most podcasts do that.
Oh, for sure. The most unnatural transition into an ad of all time ever.
Yeah.
Or we just do the Mike Francesa.
But listen, that's the podcast for this week. We thank you for listening to this marathon, but we hope you found it informative. We hope you enjoy listening to us. Come back next week. Subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, send us fan mail, send us hate mail, whatever you feel like doing. Listen, we thank all of our loyal viewers. The number will probably drop for episode 5, and we'll be even closer to getting canceled.
Hopefully it counts. Hopefully it counts by the people that tune in at the beginning and not the people that made it to the end.
The clicks.
A click is a click. A click is a click.
Give me that sweet engagement money.
But listen, seriously, thank you for joining us, and please come back next week. Thank you, guys.
Please.
Bye.
Have a good night.
See ya.